Chapter 104, Lotus, 12. Translating Novice. The excitement of the twin immortals' dance gradually subsided as the moon reached its zenith, and the event slowly came to an end. It was tough, but quite enjoyable. Bu Qianghua says with a light smile, wiping off her sweat. I'm glad you liked it. After the festival ended, I've been repeatedly practicing the dance steps and movements I had performed at the festival, and replied. But, what are you doing, Taoist Seo? Oh, somehow this dance move is. Boom, boom, boom. I spin around several times, drawing out the hidden movements within the dance. It resembles a spear technique. Bang! I wrap Gang Chi around my hand in the air, and as I thrust into the void, the spear technique hidden in the dance materializes in my hand. This spear technique seeks the integrity of unity in offense and defense. The martial principles of the spear technique naturally blends into the dance, allowing me to grasp it while performing the Twin Immortals dance. It's been hundreds of years since I began practicing martial arts. I can easily understand the underlying principles and martial logic of martial arts below a certain level. I performed the spear technique several times, attempting to fully restore it. This is a remarkable spear technique. It doesn't quite match the 24 moves Severing Mountain Swordsmanship improved by Kim Young-hoon, but it's definitely comparable to the 12 moves Severing Mountain Swordsmanship he created for me in the early days. After trying to restore the spear technique, I turned my gaze to Bu Qianghua, who is looking at me curiously. I think I've seen this in Cheonseek City. Is this martial arts? Yes, it's a self-defense technique practiced by mortals. It's considered trivial by cultivators, but if mastered properly. Whoosh. I demonstrate the formless sword. It's possible to reach such a level. Zoom. The formless sword flies in all directions, shooting down the creatures trying to invade the village. Ah, so the technique you have, Taoist Seo, was originally martial arts. Well, not originally. It still is martial arts. In truth, calling it martial arts is an understatement, given its now immense power. Anyway, I display the formless sword again. I shared this with you so that if Miss Book wants to create a magic artifact, you could refer to it. Oh, you've been quite negative until now. Have you changed your mind? Suddenly, I thought it wouldn't be bad to have a magic artifact that martial artists can use too. Oh, I see. She smiles slyly. But what to do? I was planning to create a magic artifact suitable for Taoist Seo, not for martial artists. Well, once it's complete, let's take a look at it later. I nod easily. Now that she knows I'm a martial artist, a suitable magic artifact will be completed for martial artists eventually. Then, since we had fun at the festival, shall we get to work? Boom. She takes out the portable workshop from her storage device and enters. It seems she's about to create the protective magic artifact for the village. Clang, clang, clang. Sounds of hammering resound from within the workshop, and I smile at her before heading back to the outskirts of the village. The night deepened, and from that day on, Bu Qianghua and I grew a bit closer. A few days later, boom, 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 boom. Bu Qianghua brings out 4 totems. These are protective magic artifacts designed to last about 2 years. If you install them at the 4 corners of the village, venomous creatures won't be able to invade. Thank you, Immortal. As soon as Bu Qianghua's totems are installed at the village's 4 corners, they emit light and form a barrier covering the village. Soon after, the barrier shines and becomes transparent, and the totems also shine transparently, becoming invisible. In case the cultivator clans come to the village and find the magic artifacts, I've added a hiding function to avoid any nuisance. That's a good idea. I nod, and the next day, after confirming that the creatures couldn't properly invade the barrier, we decide to depart. How can we ever repay this kindness, immortals? It's nothing. And I briefly think of the folklore book held by the village child, but shake my head. It'll be better to come back and persuade her when she's older. We also had a good time at the festival. It's been an honor. After exchanging farewells with the villagers and receiving their parting wishes, we ride the flying artifact and soar again. We venture through the mountainous terrains, making our way to Shengzi's bustling central capital. Our travels take us to the borders of Shengzi, where it meets Yanghua, and into the heart of Yinggua's capital. We explore the myriad of places scattered throughout Yanghua and eventually find ourselves in the western expanse of Biokra, among many places. Bu Qianghua and I toured numerous locations and introduced her to unique cultures. Yanghua was particularly chaotic due to the recent change in its ruling dynasty, but Bu Qianghua seemed to enjoy its distinctive atmosphere. Thus, we returned to the eastern part of Biokra, to Cheonseek City. It was a return after about 4 months. I am truly sorry about what happened. In Cheonseek City, Chongmun Yungjin and Chongmun Ryong were waiting. When the teleportation array activated again, it emitted a red light, so we didn't dare to enter. Since then, we prayed for your souls, thinking you had perished, and flew back west to Cheonseek City. Chongmun Ryong continues Chongmun Yungjin's words. Fortunately, your father, Cultivator Book, confirmed your survival and was waiting. Book Jungho speaks while holding a ring necklace around his neck. As long as Hyunghwa is alive, this ring connected to her Naragi shines like this. Womb. One side of the ring is brightly lit. Anyway, I'm relieved that both you and Daoist Seo have returned safely. We were worried, but now feel reassured. Anyway, since it was my negligence as the clan head that led you into danger, I'll compensate you later. Book Hyunghwa laughs and accepts the apologies of Chongmun Yoongjin and Chongmun Rao. It's okay. Thanks to that, I got to see the world's end and tour various places, growing closer to Daoist Seo. I have no scruples either. Fortunately, I was able to survive using a hidden technique I had kept. Since I am alive, I won't dwell on the past. I also accept his apology and decline the compensation. However, Chongmun Yoongjin speaks more seriously. Not to dwell on the past. The past doesn't disappear. Since I've indeed made a mistake, if you refuse compensation, let's agree that we'll fulfill one wish for the two of you when possible. Yes, let's do that. I also won't refuse if the clan head insists. Book Hyunghwa and I nod, securing a favor from Chongmun Yoongjin. After apologizing again, Chongmun Yoongjin returns to the main house of the Chongmun clan due to clan matters. Now, let's start researching the formations again, or so I'd like to say. Chongmun Rao glances at Book Hyunghwa and speaks. First, it seems you need time to rest from the journey, so let's start the research in 3 days. Understood. Yes. She talks with Book Jungho, unpacks, and pours out the magic artifacts she made during the journey, along with those she bought in Shungzi and Yinghua at the magic artifact stores. I cast a simple perception obscuring spell on the walls of Cheonseek City and climb up, gazing at the endless desert in the distance. In Yinghua, a city referred to a kind of administrative system and the region around it, but in Byokra, a city meant just one city, so Cheonseek City also referred to just this one city. Am lost in thought, feeling the bustling intent within this small city and the vast spiritual energy emanating from the desert in front of me. Over the past 4 months, honestly, it was fun, and at the same time, I felt like I understood why Kim Young-hoon in my previous life told me to live a proper life. My mind feels at ease. I didn't realize it until I became closer to Book Hyunghwa. During this journey, getting closer to her, I discovered that being by her side significantly relaxed my mind. It felt like a momentary escape from the unspoken pressure that had tightly bound me. But I control my emotions. I can't go any further than this. Parting with disciples, masters, friends, and countless Kim Young-hoons. The pain and agony I have experienced. If love between a man and a woman connects, how great would the pain of parting be? There is no love between friends. So, no matter how close we are, I can bury that pain in my heart and somehow move forward. But if my emotions deepen further into love, I might not be able to move forward. In the worst case, my mind might even collapse. I can't let that happen. Let's leave the happy memories of the past 4 months just as they are. Let's ensure these memories don't cross the line into more dangerous emotions. Just when I decided. Whoosh! The sunset is visible from Cheonseek City, and a familiar spiritual aura settles behind me. It's Book Jungho. He climbed up to the end of the city wall and sat next to me. So, was your journey with the young lady enjoyable? Miss Book's bright nature made it far from boring. Haha, I'm glad it was fun. He suddenly looks at me with a meaningful expression. By the way, I noticed the change in how you address each other. The young lady calls you Taoist instead of Cultivator. Ah, and your way of addressing her changed a bit too. I cough lightly and say, please do not worry. I have no feelings beyond friendship for Miss Book. Besides, I heard that Miss Book has a destined partner chosen by her mother. Ah, that. Book Jugho chuckles and looks at the setting sun. The sun is sinking beyond the horizon. How do you know if the person coming to meet her will be a man or a woman? If it's a woman, they could just become sworn sisters, right? Haha, so there's a 50% chance they're destined partners. Shouldn't I be cautious anyway? 50% chance, huh? So you haven't considered the possibility that they might not come to meet her at all? Yes? Book Jungho smiles bitterly. The young lady waits because it's her mother's last wish, but who knows about the other side? They might not keep the promise as earnestly. Even so, let me be frank. The sun dips below the horizon, and the sky turns purple. The surroundings begin to darken. There is no destined partner for my daughter. Excuse me. My ring necklace is connected to 2 magic Naragi artifacts. One belongs to my daughter. If the owner of the artifact is alive, the other side of the ring necklace look here. He extends the ring necklace he is wearing towards me. When the young lady was 11, a few years after her mother's death, about 11 years ago from now, the light on the other side of the ring went out. Her destined partner? There's no such person anymore. They're dead. Whether it was accidental, sudden, homicide, or suicide. He says with a bitter smile. If the owner changes, there should be a sign. But the fact that it's been years without any light means the likelihood is high that the other person died alone in a foreign land. The young lady already knows. The Naragi has been linked to the other pair since the beginning, so she must have known for a long time. She's just using her mother's last wish as an excuse, not leaving this city to relive her memories with her mother. Book Jung-ho continues, looking at me. I pride myself on my ability to judge people. That's why I agreed to the bet proposed by that kid Byok Munsong last time. I recall the chi-building cultivator from the Byok clan. He was full of impure intentions. But I swallowed the thought that came to mind and chose to stay quiet. In my opinion, you seem like a pretty decent person. Honestly, you look even better than the guy from the Byok clan. What about you? Do you not have feelings for the young lady? I remain silent for a moment, then give a bitter smile. I apologize, but I have no feelings beyond friendship for Miss Book. After looking at me thoughtfully for a moment, Book Jung-ho stands up and dusts himself off. My judgment is usually accurate. I'll keep an eye on this. Whoosh. He heads back down the city wall, and I turn my head. The lights in various parts of Cheonseek City had turned on, illuminating the entire city. I gaze endlessly at the city. The next day, Book Hyunghwa was kidnapped. This is... Book Jung-ho's face contorts with rage. He came to Chongmun Ryong, holding the red-flamed ring necklace. Hyunghwa is sending a distress signal right now. Please help. A distress signal? This is a signal used only when kidnapped. Hearing Book Jung-ho's words, Chongmun Ryong's face also contorts. How dare they? Kidnapping a cultivator working with the Chongmun clan means they're disregarding our clan's authority. Chongmun Ryong stands up indignantly. I also frown and rise from my seat. Please explain what happened. Book Jung-ho gradually details the situation. When he woke up in the morning, Book Hyunghwa was not in her room. The room was unnecessarily disheveled, and there were traces of the previous night's formation being skillfully dismantled. Currently, a distress signal is being sent through the ring necklace connected to the Naragi, who suddenly kidnapped her. I heighten my senses. First, please take me to Miss Book's room. In the state of heightened demon senses, I decide to track the flow of spiritual energy. Whoosh! In the middle of the desert, a flying artifact, shaped like a flying sword, is rapidly moving. On the artifact, Byok Munsong is shaking off the sandstorm, holding a large sack over his shoulder. Stay calm, Lady Hyunghwa. Regardless of how much you struggle, you were kidnapped as part of my plan, prepared over the last 4 months. I don't know where you've been, but thanks to you, I had plenty of time to prepare and execute the plan swiftly and secretly. He says with a confident smile to Book Hyunghwa, who is wriggling inside the sack. Especially since I scattered subtle hidden fragrance. Without special tracking demon beasts, they won't be able to track us. Those beasts are also handled by my Byok clan. I've spoken to the elder handling demon beasts, and for the next 7 weeks, no demon beast will be found in any market of Biokra, so it's better to give up. Wriggle, wriggle. Yet the movement inside the sack do not stop. Byok Munsong looks southward with a sneering expression. First, we'll head to Yinghua through a ship prepared at the southern coast. After staying in Yinghua for a few months, we'll head to the Byok clan's territory. In the meantime, it's in your best interest to follow my words. I can maximize your potential just like the Mad Lord did, so it won't be all bad for you. Haha, stop squirming. Even as a cultivator, you can't do much with your hands and feet tied and your spiritual power sealed. Snap. Swoosh. Byok Munsong is startled and looks back. The sack he is carrying burst open, and Book Hyunghwa, who is inside, falls out and drops downwards. What? Whoosh. Book Hyunghwa uses a spell to land safely on the desert and glares at Byok Munsong. I never thought you, Sir Byok, would resort to such lowly tactics. Ah no. I tied her hands and feet, and even attached a seal to block her spiritual power. Book Hyunghwa raises her hand. A small beetle-shaped puppet is on her hand. The beetle puppet is just about to swallow a piece of talisman that looks like a fragment of a seal. I made this inspired by Senior Madlord's puppets, and it's quite handy. Ah no, you made that while tied up? All that wriggling was actually you making the puppet out of wood shavings? Byok Munsong momentarily panics, but then laughs. Indeed, Lady Hyunghwa is impressive. I'm even more curious to see what happens when your potential blooms. Trust me, Lady Hyunghwa, I really have a way to awaken your potential, just like the Mad Lord did. If you had come to me respectfully to discuss this, I would have listened, but this rudeness is too much to bear. Book Hyunghwa coldly eyes Byok Munsong and fiddles with her earring. The earring emits light and spits out a storage device. Byok Munsong's face contorts. Huh, it's a storage device. But just a few artifacts cannot bridge the power gap between chi building and chi refining. Then, as Book Hyunghwa opens the device, dozens, hundreds of flying sword artifacts burst out, embedding themselves all around. Boom, 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 boom. Whoosh. As Buk Hianghua breathes life into them, the hundreds of flying sword artifacts begin to shine and levitate. Damn it. Bayok Munsong's face turns pale. If you keep resisting, I'll have no choice but to take you by force. Hold your nonsense. Just as Bayok Munsong is about to gather his pure spiritual force, Bayok Munsong and Buk Hianghua simultaneously look in one direction. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Something colorless is stirring up a sandstorm, flying towards them. In the center of the sandstorm, a figure flickers. Bayok Munsong frowns. Damn, who's already chasing us? How did they find us? Without a tracking demon beast, it should be impossible. He takes out a flying sword artifact from his storage device and shouts at the figure in the center of the sandstorm. Come on, come and see. I was once called the sword genius of the Bayok clan. Whoosh boom. A colorless sword light whizzes past Bayok Munsong, creating a huge valley in the desert and causing an explosion in a sand dune far away. Kugagugagu. The ground shakes and sandstorms whirl in all directions. Bayok Munsong's face turns deathly pale. Is it a core formation senior? Conversely, Buk Hianghua recognizes the owner of the sword light, and her face brightens momentarily. And in that brief moment when she's distracted, Lady Hianghua, we must run. What? Let go of me. With a face as white as a sheet, Bayok Munsong approached Buk Hianghua, picked her up, and jumped onto the flying sword artifact. Wait a moment. Lady Hianghua, this is not the time to fight among ourselves. A core formation senior is furious. Running away is our only chance to survive. No. Zoom. Bayok Munsong shoots into the sky, fleeing. As Buk Hianghua forms hand seals, numerous flying sword artifacts embedded in the desert floor rise to chase them, but they can't keep up with Bayok Munsong, who is driving the artifact with pure spiritual force. The owner of the sword light that had stirred up the sandstorm while chasing them, Seo Eunhyun, looks at the two with a disbelieving expression. This guy is causing trouble for everyone. He recalls what Buk Jungho said the previous night with a hollow laugh. Cultivator Buk, your judgment of people seems a bit off. To think you like that guy. Seo Eunhyun kicks off the ground and chases after Bayok Munsong with his formless sword. Hi hike. Senior, I don't know what's happening, but please spare me. Unable to recognize Seo Eunhyun's face obscured by the sandstorm, Bayok Munsong screams and runs away, while Seo Eunhyun silently pursues him. Thus, the chase in the desert began. Stop annoying me. Just stop right there. Boom, crash. Once again, Seo Eunhyun strikes down with the formless sword. Another valley appears in the desert, and Bayok Munsong, overwhelmed with terror, pours all of his pure spiritual force into the flying sword artifact. Seeing the disaster caused by the mysterious core formation cultivator pursuing him, Bayok Munsong gasps for air. A monster-like core formation cultivator is furiously chasing me. If I don't run faster, I'll die. Kugagu kugagu kugagugagu. And Bayok Munsong feels the mysterious core formation cultivator gathering power. I'm going to die. Something transparent, cutting through the air, flies towards him. Chapter 105, Lotus, 13. Translating novice. Dust scatters in the air. I swing my sword. Boom, boom, boom. 3 valleys appear in front, and what looked like a mountain range at the end split into 3 parts. As Bayok Munsong panics, I close in on him. I reach out and grab one of the hundreds of flying swords trailing behind him. Whoosh. Even just in the air, the formless sword exudes terrifying power, and when combined with the sword, its concentration increases even more. As I overlay the formless sword onto the artifact, it activates an emitted spiritual energy. Flash. It seems like a fire attribute flying sword. As flames burst forth, the formless sword catches the flames, creating a massive fiery sword. Whoosh. Boom. Swinging the artifact overlaid with the formless sword, a massive fiery slash flies out, turning the desert into a glassy wasteland. Each swing brings Bayok Munsong closer due to his fear affecting his control of spiritual power. I grab another flying sword and swing again. A water attribute flying sword. Swoosh. The desert in front transforms into a swampy area. I swing a wood attribute flying sword, corresponding to the Jun trigram, containing the attribute of thunder and lightning strikes all around, melting parts of the desert into glass. Aark. Caught in the lightning, Bayok Munsong screams and loses control of his flying sword, plummeting downwards. Plunk. He falls into a sand dune, and Buk Hianghua, who had managed to escape from his grasp, summons her artifacts nearby and safely land on one. You are unharmed. You could have just waited a bit and caught this guy, but you had to come and complicate things. No matter how many artifacts you have, you shouldn't underestimate the power of a chi-building cultivator. I point at him, crawling out of the sand dune. SSSSS. In Soul Ghost Incantation. Swoosh. Several curse spells fly towards him, embedding directly into his head. Aart. Restrain. Screech. The curse spell burrows into his upper dantian, creating a mental restraint. He rolls his eyes back, foaming at the mouth, and collapses. I approach him, forming hand seals. Why did you do this? Herc. Allah. Answer, and the pain will lessen. Answer me. I. He starts babbling while drooling. I alone recognize her true worth. I alone can help her grow. So you kidnapped her for that? That's right. Bu Qianghua, who has approached, asks coldly. And what was that about being able to help me grow? What does that mean? Answer. Whoosh. I trigger the curse spell slightly, and Biak Munsong, his eyes rolling back, replies. The Biak clan, recently, in the desert, found it. What is it? The ruins of the Zhou clan. I ask curiously. The Zhou clan? What kind of clan is that? I see Buk Qianghua's face turn serious. You found the ruins of the Zhou clan? Is the Zhou clan a famous clan? I ask puzzlingly, and Buk Qianghua nods gravely. Unless you've spent a long time in eastern Biokra, you might not know. The Zhou clan, gone extinct 1,000 years ago, was shrouded in all kinds of mysteries. 1,000 years ago, they were renowned in all areas of creation artifacts, puppets, talismans, elixirs. The most well-known fact to the general public is, her explanation makes me startled. The clan of the Mad Lord, Zhou Yan. The Mad Lord's clan. I become astonished and look at Biak Munsong. 1,000 years ago, they ruled all of Biokra, boasting tremendous power, then vanished overnight. Some say the Mad Lord, in his madness, exterminated his own clan, but that seems implausible. I recall what the Mad Lord had sobbed. I exterminated my own clan that killed her. I fall silent, and Bu Qianghua continues interrogating the delirious Biak Munsong. So, what did you find at the Zhou clan ruins? In the ruins of the Zhou clan, of the Mad Lord Zhou Yan, a special elixir formula was discovered that enhances the talent of descendants who possess the extraordinary pattern law talent, growing their abilities. A special elixir? What is it? With a groan of resistance, he starts to speak under my mental restraint. It's an elixir that, besides enhancing spiritual power, significantly amplifies emotions by incorporating the resentful souls of the ingredients used in the chi-building pills in its refining process. The extraordinary pattern law talent has a nature where if emotions fluctuate beyond a certain level or through the accumulation of experience over a long period of effort, growth of quality is possible. From 7 patterns to 6, from 4 to 3, from 2 to 1. For Buk Qianghua, who is a 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent, with enough effort accumulated, there's a possibility to reach the level of 3 patterns. I remember the half-mixed patterns of black and purple that had appeared on her. Only I can help her grow, awaken her talent. Is there anything else you wish to ask? No, that's enough. I form a spell and place my hand on his head. What should we do with him? I can turn him into an idiot if you want. After pondering, she shakes her head. Let it be. He has shown me kindness before, so let's call it even. Bu Qianghua coldly looks down at Biak Munsong. But this is it, Cultivator Biak. There's nothing between you and me anymore. No next time. You hear that? Remember her words. I softly trigger the curse. Screaming, he passes out, likely retaining only the memory of Buk Qianghua's final words. Let's go. Okay. Buk Qianghua gathers her flying sword artifacts and ascends on a flying artifact with me back to Cheonseok City. Feeling the desert wind, I ask her, aren't you curious about the formula for that elixir? It could be beneficial for a cultivator like you. She gives an awkward smile. Most cultivators don't know, but do you know the main ingredient of the chi-building pill, Daoist Sio? I'm aware. Then, it's easier to explain. My father told me that human life force and essence blood are used in the chi-building pill. That formula is based on it, so I'd rather not consume it. Most cultivators consume it knowingly. Why don't you? Have you consumed any chi-building pills, Daoist Sio? I smile wryly. I haven't. Then you understand. I'd rather not. I see. And I've been thinking. Bu Qianghua gently touches the skin where her patterns were visible. If talent can grow through experience and effort, I'd prefer to grow that way. A wise choice. We continue to talk about talent and cultivation on our way back to Cheonseok City. Upon returning, she embraced Buk Jungho, who finally relaxed and hugged her back. When asked about the kidnapper, Bu Qianghua didn't mention Biak Munsong, only deciding to increase her room's security and protective artifacts. Thus, the kidnapping incident concluded. A few days later, we resumed our discussions on the formation method. The remaining parts included the external and inner array methods conceived in Serving Command Palace and the coordination between the formation artifacts. We spent months redesigning the formation method, now nearing completion. The last part is the most tedious and time-consuming. We need to focus on trial and error to finalize the formation. What remained was for Bu Qianghua to create the formation artifacts, attract dragon veins to support the longevity tree, and finally tune the formation to the longevity tree. This is time-consuming due to gathering the dragon veins. The formation artifacts were quickly completed. Bu Qianghua made 72 formation flags and 36 formation discs, which Changman Ryong and I adjusted to fit the formation alongside Bu Qianghua. Now, we just have to wait for the dragon veins to gather after installing the formation. We need a place for test trials. Changman Ryong suggests, and Bu Qianghua, adjusting the formation artifacts, replies, should we find a place rich in dragon veins? That would be ideal. Any suggestions? She hesitates before responding. There is a place near Cheonseek City. Let's go there. To install the formation there, we need my father's permission. Is it his property? With a bittersweet smile, she says, it's my mother's grave. Embarrassed, Changman Ryong coughs and looks away. We can't do a formation experiment on your mother's grave. We should look for another location, even if it's a bit farther. I believe my father will grant permission. Bu Qianghua puts down the formation flags on the table. The purpose of this formation is to gather dragon veins to grow plants and trees, correct? Although my mother's grave is in a desolate desert, some small plants grow due to the dense dragon veins. If the formation could make my mother's grave more vibrant, I don't see why my father wouldn't agree. He'll ask for his permission. Changman Ryong coughs and nods in agreement. All right, then please do. Bu Qianghua leaves to seek permission from Bu Jungho, and soon after, he enters the conference room where we are designing the formation. After hearing again about the formation's effects from Changman Ryong, he nods in approval. She would have liked it. I entrust this to you, Cultivator Changman. If you say so. Thus, the test trial site for the formation was decided to be the grave of Bu Qianghua's mother, Bu Jungho's wife. The spirit tablet is inscribed with the name Yun, Lien/Lotus. Bu Qianghua's mother, Bu Jungho's wife. Her name is Yun. Bu Jungho pours some liquor at Yun's grave and then closes his eyes for a moment. Yun's grave is in a sandstone cave a little away from Cheonseek City. Or maybe it's not ordinary sandstone. Due to the active dragon veins, the rocks seem to have transformed into a special or infused with spiritual energy. Whether Bu Jungho had created it or not, the cave's ceiling is open to the sky, letting in light. Thanks to the light, various unknown flowers and grasses have sparsely grown inside the cave. This location, I recall the memory of Bu Qianghua giving me water for the first time in my past lives. It seems she used to visit this cave even then. Please set up the formation, Cultivator Changman. Understood. Changman Ryong and I place formation flags and discs around the grave, outside, and at various distant spots. The formation flags attract the surrounding spiritual energy, and the formation discs gather the dragon veins. Soon, spiritual energy gathers in the center of the grave, enhancing the vitality around. The sparse grass and flowers begin to flourish more vigorously. Changman Ryong and I complete the external formation setup, and then move inside to adjust the inner formation. My wife had no cultivation talent in her life. It's fortunate she now rests in a place filled with spiritual energy. Bu Jungho spoke while looking at the grave. Changman Ryong looks at the spirit tablet and asks him, Yun, that's a beautiful name. She must have been a lovely wife. Yes, my wife was beautiful. A good mother. What is her family name? Bu Jungho answers with a bittersweet expression. My wife has no family name. Not because she lacked a family, but because her family was too eminent to give her one. He caresses his wife's grave as he speaks. Bu Qianghua also looks at her father's back with a melancholic expression. The esteemed cultivator from the Gongmyo clan, Elder Gongmyo Cheonseek. My wife was his illegitimate daughter. A vein popped on Changman Ryong's forehead. That lustful man, causing trouble again. I don't resent him. He was kind to me and my wife. Being a mortal without any cultivation potential. Well, it wouldn't make sense for the Gongmyo clan to give the clan name to an illegitimate mortal daughter. I apologize on behalf of my friend for his mistake. No need. Thanks to Elder Gongmyo Cheonseek, we have Cheonseek City, and my wife and I could spend time here. After looking at the grave for a while, he takes out a small sapling of magnolia. Yun loved magnolias. Please let this bloom. Certainly. Changman Ryong plants the magnolia sapling behind the grave and connects the dragon veins of the formation to the magnolia. After 5 years, the dragon veins will accumulate spiritual energy, and then it will rapidly grow the magnolia. We can come back later to check on the dragon veins. He sighs lightly and looks at Bu Qianghua and me. Thank you all for your efforts. All that's left is to observe the formation for 5 years, solve minor issues, and conduct trial and error. 5 years. Changman Ryong sighs softly. Even at this old age, instead of resting peacefully at the main house, I'm conducting tests on formations. Haha, I apologize for that. No, Daoist Seo, you have nothing to be sorry for. It was our clan head's command after all. Changman Ryong pats his back and leaves, while I briefly look at the Book father-daughter pair and leave the grave with them. And thus, 5 years passed. In Book Hyanghua's underground workshop, in its secret chamber. Stay strong, Miss Book. Ichinengh. I placed my hand on Book Hyanghua's back, infusing earth attribute spiritual power to support her. Not much longer now. With the techniques Cultivator Changman and I taught you. Flash. The next moment, a light bursts from her eyes, and clouds of spiritual energy billow from her mouth. Whoosh. Possessing the roots of earth, wood, and metal, Book Hyanghua exhales and reabsorbs clouds of yellow, blue, and white spiritual energy. Then, suddenly, rumble. A sound like thunder seems to resound from her lower abdomen, indicating the circulation of pure spiritual force within her. For about 5 years, Book Hyanghua had been taking spiritual elixirs provided by her father Book Jungho. Additionally, with the guidance of Changman Ryong, a leading authority in spiritual awakening, and my teachings, she had reached the peak of qi refining. Following my advice, she learned additional basic methods tailored to her spiritual roots, bringing them all to peak cultivation. Along with her preparation and my help, she has finally reached the stage of qi building. Pure spiritual force. She lifts her hand, showing the pure spiritual force swirling around it, and lets out a small cry of joy. Thank you so much, Daoist Seo. It's nothing. It was a friend's request after all. Haha, Senior Changman is somewhat of a friend too, isn't he? Yet, he said he wouldn't help, didn't he? Well, Cultivator Changman is a member of the Changman clan, so helping a non-Changman cultivator with qi building might cause some gossip within his clan, right? She gives me a meaningful look, then opens the door of the secret chamber and walks out, laughing. Well, let's leave it at that. Now, let's visit the grave. It's time. All right. Over the past 5 years, Changman Ryong, Book Hyanghua, and I have grown closer. And as I watch her walk away, I smile wryly. Book Hyanghua ascended to qi building, gaining an additional lifespan of 300 years. The spiritual energy accumulated in the dragon veins over 5 years activated the formation, rapidly growing the magnolia tree. We marvel at the purple magnolia blossoms inside Yun's grave, especially Book Jungho, who looks close to tears at the sight of the flourishing magnolia. Thank you, Cultivator Changman, Cultivator Seo, and thank you, Hyanghua. We should be thanking you for providing land rich in dragon veins. Changman Ryong humbly accepts Book Jungho's gratitude. Unlike 5 years ago, the grave is now vibrant with dense spiritual energy, causing the inner grass and weeds to grow abundantly. There's no need to gather the formation artifacts we've spread out. We've confirmed this formation works, so we can just make more if needed. That's right. Thank you. Thanks to the formation designed by Changman Ryong and me, Yun's grave will continue to be a place brimming with life. After expressing his gratitude again, Book Jungho exchanges pleasantries with us. After the courtesies are done, Changman Ryong looks at the formation and speaks. Now, I'll return to the Changman clan and prepare a place near there similar to the first floor of Serving Command Palace, with similar dragon veins and environment. He'll wait another 5 years and test the formation there. If it works as well as it did here, we'll finally install the formation at the actual location of Serving Command Palace. Please do, and thank you. There's no need for Book Hyanghua's or my help in the remaining process. The formation artifacts are complete, and the formation is fully adjusted. What remains is Changman Ryong's test trial. Then, see you in 5 years, Daoist Seo. Now that you're at the same level, Cultivator Book. Yes, understood. Changman Ryong packs up his belongings and returns to the Changman clan. Aren't you leaving, Daoist Seo? There's no need for further adjustment to the formation, so my presence there is unnecessary. So, it's just Senior Changman leaving, and you're staying? That seems to be the case. You could go somewhere else. Why insist on staying here? I can't find the words to respond and avoid her gaze. She notices my reaction and gently chuckles, taking me by the arm. All right, since you're staying, for at least the next 5 years, you'll be in Cheonseek City, right? That seems likely. Then, how about we plant a new sapling in front of my mother's grave? Suddenly, you said you're staying, so let's commemorate that. Unable to resist, I'm led by her to the market, and somewhat bewilderingly by a sapling. What kind of sapling did you get, Daoist Seo? A quince tree. I stroke the quince sapling. My old master used to say I resembled a quince tree, so I bought it in his memory. We each carry our saplings and enter Yun's grave. Aren't you curious about the sapling I got? Oh, I'm sorry. Haha, it's fine. My sapling is. She caresses a blooming magnolia flower. A white magnolia. White magnolia. Just like my mother loved purple magnolias, I love white magnolias. I feel she suits white magnolia, much like her preference for white attire. We plant the quince and white magnolia saplings on either side of the purple magnolia tree. The formation is aimed at the purple magnolia, so our saplings wouldn't grow rapidly, but will gradually and naturally grow beside it. Why did you suddenly decide to plant saplings, Miss Book? I told you, didn't I? That's true, but I sense she has other, unspoken reasons, but can't bring myself to voice them first. Shall we head back? Let's do that. We returned to Cheonseek City. That evening, I once again sat on the walls of Cheonseek City, facing the desert wind. You seem to enjoy contemplation, my friend. Book Jung-ho approaches me from behind, echoing a scenario similar to 5 years ago. His question is similar as well. How is it going lately, getting closer to the young lady? I brush my face with one hand. Do you still have no feelings beyond friendship for my daughter? The same question as 5 years ago, but my answer has changed. I find myself fond of the miss. Ha ha, I knew it. My intuition was right. He chuckles heartily and sits beside me. In fact, 5 years ago, you already liked my daughter. You were able to hide your feelings back then, but now your affection has grown too strong to conceal, hasn't it? He accurately guesses my inner turmoil. I can't bring myself to remove the hand that covers my face. Falling for someone. He is right. 5 years ago, I merely hid my feelings, but now they're too evident. I like her, more than I can deceive myself. So, when will you confess to my daughter? From what I see, she won't reject you. But, sir, that is it. I have no intention of confessing to the miss. This love has to remain a beautiful memory. If it becomes more than a memory, and the subject of that love vanishes beyond time, I will surely go mad. At my response, Book Jung-ho gives me a puzzled look. Are you part of a specific religion that forbids romantic relationships? No. Or perhaps you have a preference for men? No. Or maybe a special cultivation method that renders you incapable? No. Then why? He crosses his arms and asks me, why are you making such efforts not to be with my daughter since 5 years ago? Had you truly disliked my daughter, you would have left Cheonseek City with Cultivator Chongman. But you stayed, knowing your own heart. Yet you insist on not being with her? He looks at me, unable to understand, and I resort to a shallow lie. I practice a peculiar cultivation method. I continue explaining. It's called the one emotion method. It's a method that intensifies a specific emotion to cultivate special powers. I'm using your daughter to amplify my emotions for faster cultivation. Staying here is just for advancing my cultivation. You're lying. I do practice the one emotion method. No. He looks me straight in the eyes. You said you use emotions for cultivation, right? If you were with my daughter, wouldn't your emotions deepen even more? Why wouldn't you choose that? Wouldn't that be more beneficial for you? Indeed. I practice the one emotion method to cultivate the 5 elements blood curse banner. But the emotion I use isn't love. Rather, it's calmness. Every time I think of Book Hyunghwa and feel my heart flutter, I deliberately use calmness as the emotion for my cultivation. But now, my affection has grown too strong, overshadowing my calmness. Please give me some time. I can't say anything more, and Book Jung-ho looks at me with an unimpressed gaze. Fine, but I hope you make a decision quickly. My daughter has spent her life confined in the city, using her mother's last words as an excuse. Her fate, as I see it, is you. Without you, she might never meet her fated and will continue to confine herself even more. I hope for a quick decision. Book Jung-ho descends the walls, and I close my eyes. Days passed, and another pleasant visitor came from the west to stir my calmness. How have you been, Eun-hyun? It's Kim Young-hoon. Let's have a match. Flash. He draws his gold-bladed saber. Translator notes. Martial arts chapter incoming. Extra donated chapter coming soon. Chapter 106, Lotus, 14. /translating novice. What the? Without giving me a chance to be startled, Kim Young-hoon thrusts his saber towards me. Virum. Boom. A golden saber light strikes my body. As I have reached the chi building stage, my body is always enveloped in protective gang chi. Thus, I didn't sustain any injuries from the blow, and I am merely flung outside the city. Outside Cheonseek City in the heaven-treading desert. With no more eyes watching me, I don't hesitate to draw out my formless sword. Feeling the momentum of my formless sword, Kim Young-hoon's expression changes, but he charges at me with a smile. Virum. Boom. The golden light of his saber clashes against my formless sword. It's fast and powerful. And then, Kim Hyung. That's all. You still haven't reached beyond the path to heaven. Boom. I repel his golden saber light and swing my formless sword towards Kim Young-hoon. He tries to counter with his golden saber light, but in an instant, my formless sword accelerates even faster, surpassing his speed. Clang. Kim Young-hoon barely manages to block my formless sword in a split second, but that's the end. He can't show me anything more. The speed of surpassing Radiant Saber caught up by formless sword. That's impossible. Surpassing Radiant Saber is the embodiment of extreme speed. A martial art that literally exists in the brief instance of time. That is surpassing Radiant Saber. Not so pathetic to be caught up in speed by the formless sword, which embodies freedom of trajectory. I estimate Kim Young-hoon's realm, the extreme of ultimate pinnacle, just a bit beyond the extreme. That seems to be all. Kim Young-hoon laughs in vain and dissipates the golden saber light. As expected, the golden saber light doesn't return to his consciousness. It was just golden saber gang, right? I haven't reached beyond the path to heaven, the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. Honestly, even that is an insane speed. It's been almost 7 years now since the cycle began. In just 7 years, this person has broken through ultimate pinnacle and slightly exceeded its limits. Before, it took 10 years just to reach 5 energies converging to the origin. Knowing that there exists a realm beyond the path beyond the heavens, and understanding the martial principle of it, the time of reaching that state seemed to accelerate as he trained more fervently with it as his goal. Even that much is an insane level of growth. Impressive. In my past life, Kim Young-hoon had spent decades reaching beyond the path to heaven. Instead, just his talent to mimic the realm of beyond the path to heaven with ultimate pinnacle realm martial arts is insane. But he doesn't seem to think so, looking at me with dissatisfaction. Who are you mocking? You, who reached beyond the path to heaven and chi building in less than half a year. And as you've seen, the golden gang chi I just showed was just imitating the realm of beyond the path to heaven. He raises the golden gang chi with dissatisfaction. Woo-woo. Inside the golden gang chi, I feel the power of 9 gang spheres. Instead of naturally integrating gang spheres into consciousness and merging them, it's a method of forcibly breaking the gang spheres and integrating them, then controlling them within a single gang chi. Incredibly inefficient and has a short duration. Additionally, if there's even a tiny mistake when splitting the gang sphere, it could immediately impact the entire body's meridians, posing a risk of becoming disabled, a truly dangerous martial art. That's a dangerous martial art. It would be better not to continue using that. No problem. If one has the ability to detect and control every minute flow, there's no chance of becoming a cripple. I silently watch his golden gang chi. Ordinary people don't have the ability to control all those minute flows. It's a martial art that can only be used by leveraging Kim Young-hoon's overwhelming talent. But I shake my head and say, still, even if it momentarily catches up to the realm of beyond the path to heaven, it's too inefficient and dangerous in front of real strong opponents. Just me, for example. I'm confident I can suppress you using that within 10 seconds, without using the output of pure spiritual force and consciousness, and just with the formless sword. It wasn't a joke, but a fact. If it's surpassing Radiant Saber, the embodiment of speed, it's unlikely. But that gang chi, in front of the trajectory embodiment of formless sword, is just the epitome of useless inefficiency. I can say this because I am in a higher realm. Moreover, originally, that was one of the many trials and errors Kim Young-hoon repeatedly went through at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. In this life, I hadn't told Kim Young-hoon about the many trials and errors he had gone through from the ultimate pinnacle to beyond the path to heaven. It's a path that leads nowhere. Seeing Kim Young-hoon a bit downcast, I say to him, "So, you've come all this way to the far eastern edge of Biokra." "Yes, like you said, I've entered a strange path. I came to find you to break out of the mold of ultimate pinnacle." A wise choice. I nod. It's been over 200 years since I reached beyond the path to heaven. I'm quite confident in guiding him on this path. I smile at him. His growth is ever accelerating. Every time he faces a new goal, Kim Young-hoon's talent seems to spring from an endless well, reaching higher and higher. Simultaneously, his rate of growth is quickening. Even if, by chance, I can't cultivate the longevity fruit in this life. Perhaps, within the remaining 50 years, I might see the realm above beyond the path to heaven. Good. A new realm will be pioneered in this life. Kim Hyung. Challenging me to a sparring match, besides the techniques you just showed, you must have something else up your sleeve, right? No. What I just showed was the result of long contemplation and my ultimate technique. I chuckle at his flustered reaction. Then you'll have to come up with something new right away. Rumble. Seeing Kim Young-hoon after so many years, I can't let it end with just this. I'm itching for a proper martial duel. Don't worry. I won't use pure spiritual force and will match my consciousness with yours. If you want, I won't even draw out my formless sword. Honestly, whether I draw it or not, I've already mastered the change in trajectories, so it makes no difference. I grin and approach the person in front of me, finally a worthy opponent to spar with. Now I understand how Kim Young-hoon felt, exhilarated when he used to spar with me when I was just beginning and 5 energies converging to the origin and at the entrance of ultimate pinnacle. For someone who has been alone at the top for so long, the chance to play with anyone, even slightly close to the summit, is enticing. It doesn't matter how much lower in realm the opponent is. After all, besides such an opponent, most couldn't even find the entrance to the mountain, let alone reach the summit. I match his level, float 9 gang spheres, and charge at him. This is my friend, Kim Young-hoon, Miss Book. Kim Hyung. This is Miss Book, who recently worked with me on a certain formation, Book Hyunghwa. Hello. Hello. But. Book Hyunghwa looks up and down Kim Young-hoon with a pitying gaze. Did you encounter bandits? In the eastern part of Biokra, it's common to meet bandit groups between cities. Wait a moment, I'll bring you some clothes. She looks at Kim Young-hoon, who's in tatters, with pity and goes inside her work area to get clothes. The lady from last time. Yes. Introducing me in this state, are you happy? He glares at me, rubbing his slightly swollen jaw from the beating. Ahem, I did heal you, didn't I? Did you have a lot of pent-up frustration at the company? Let's just say that. Honestly, I don't even remember the things that happened on Earth anymore, but I brush it off while avoiding Kim Young-hoon's gaze. Oh, but I didn't expect you to have already made a lady friend. Seems like your love life is going well. Kim Young-hoon, having read the intent between me and Book Hyunghwa, looks at me sharply. It's not exactly a romantic relationship. It isn't. He points outside the magic artifact shop with an incredulous expression. Outside, a couple that look like lovers are walking by. Do you see their intent? I do. And since you're at a higher realm than me, unless your brain is damaged, you would have seen your own and that lady's intent too. Damn. Being equals in martial arts meant we couldn't hide our inner thoughts from each other. It's just not that. What do you mean it's not? If you have eyes, you can see the intent you two are emitting towards each other. I avoid Kim Young-hoon's gaze, and he slaps his chest in frustration. You were like this in the company, but why are you so frustrating? Why are you even bringing up the company? It was almost 700 years ago, and honestly, I can't even remember. My memory and thinking has improved as my consciousness expanded, but still, 700 years is no short time, right? You probably didn't know at the company. Back then, you couldn't even read intent, you dull guy. Excuse me. Except you. All the department people knew, you fool. What are you talking about? I wish we were talking about martial arts instead. I couldn't follow what Kim Young-hoon was saying and just looked at him. Kim Young-hoon looks at me with pity, then just clicks his tongue. I don't understand his attitude and look at him puzzlingly. Later, when Book Hyunghwa came out with new clothes for Kim Young-hoon, I still didn't understand what he was talking about and just tilted my head in confusion. 2 days have passed since Kim Young-hoon came to Cheonseek City. I was helping Book Hyunghwa gather materials for magic artifacts and told her what Kim Young-hoon said to me. So, suddenly he says everyone from my hometown knew. Miss Book, what does this mean? Paha. Book Hyunghwa bursts into laughter hearing my words. No, Dawas Seo. Do you really not know? Am I the strange one? No, not strange. Just a bit slow. I've heard that a lot before. She chuckles and says, among your hometown folks, there was someone who liked you, Dawas Seo. Huh. I'm startled by her unexpected answer. Someone in our department liked me? There weren't many female staff in our department. There were about 8 female staff, one of whom was quite elderly, and 3 had boyfriends. Among those without boyfriends, who could have liked me? It could have been Deputy Manager Kong Min-hee, Deputy Manager Oh Hyeseo, Manager Kim Yun, or Manager Shin. Manager Shin rarely interacted with me, so not her. A colleague then. But who? I press my temples, confused. Book Hyunghwa watches me with a subtle expression. Does it bother you, Dawas Seo? It's a bit surprising, but not really bothering. I brush off the thoughts with her voice. In fact, I hardly remember the other colleagues except for Kim Young-hoon. It's been 700 years. 700 long years without proper conversation. Whether someone liked me, I liked someone, we disliked each other, someone bullied me, we were indifferent, or someone I trusted. I don't remember who's who. My memories and feelings have all faded. Since they are not beside me now, I feel nothing. Rather, those with me now come to mind much more and are much more precious. You look tired. Let me help. I take the magic artifact materials from her reddened hands. It seems hot. We soon arrive at the workshop of White Magic Lotus. Anyway, Dawas Seo, there's something I want to show you. Book Hyunghwa takes the materials from me and after arranging them inside, she calls me into the workshop. Come see. You might find it interesting. What is it? I follow her into the workshop. In the center of the workshop, something covered with a white cloth was placed. I tremble slightly at its outline. Is that? Yes, that's right. Whoosh. She removes the cloth, revealing what is beneath. A puppet. It's the Mad Lord's puppet brought from serving Command Palace. You restored the Mad Lord's puppet? I can't restore the central circuit yet. It's too intricate. But I successfully restored the other circuits, so it can move if spiritual energy is infused. It can't exert full power, but it can output about 60% of its strength. She looks at me and asks, shall we try it out once? Sure. I readily agree. The Mad Lord's puppet. What level would 60% of the puppet's original strength be? Book Hyunghwa and I took the puppet outside to the desert. Here I go. Vroom. She inserted a spirit stone into a slot in the puppet and infused it with consciousness, and the puppet flapped its wings and flew. Incredible. I marvel at the dense circuits swirling inside the puppet. Is it more intricate than a living creature's veins? Amazing. I see her command the puppet with her consciousness. The next moment, bang. Startled, I released a gang sphere in front of me. Boom. Pure spiritual force shot from the puppet's rear in a sharp needle form, collides with the gang sphere. Such speed. The next moment, the bee puppet moves again, flying behind me and extending its stinger. Crack. I wrap my hand with pure spiritual force and catch the puppet's stinger. This speed. It's the speed of Kim Young-hoon using 5 gang spheres. Additionally, this attack uses the puppet's pure spiritual force in the form of a stinger. It's a chi-building level attack. This is only at 60% of its full power. If the puppet could exert its full strength, it would be as strong as late chi-building. Chilling. I indirectly experienced the Mad Lord's power through the bee puppet. I shiver all over. How many such remains, like this bee puppet, were casually discarded in Serving Command Palace? Not just in Serving Command Palace, but also inside the Nether Crossing ship. There were a lot more than just a few of these remains. If the puppet could exert its full power, its speed would be comparable to Kim Young-hoon at the ultimate pinnacle using 9 gang spheres. Can a mere puppet achieve such speed? Snap. Lost in thought, the bee puppet cuts off the pure spiritual force stinger and moves away from me, shooting another stinger from its rear. Whoosh. The bee puppet rushes at me again. Boom. I grab the puppet's head and slam it into the ground. Impressive. Both the Mad Lord and Miss Book, who restored the Mad Lord's puppet. It wasn't that hard, really. It isn't a combat puppet, and it wasn't too damaged. Excuse me. A puppet that moves at the speed of ultimate pinnacle and can deliver a chi-building level blow in a moment is not a combat type? This isn't a combat type, right? Apart from the stinger, it doesn't have any special attack features. It's just fast, without any peculiar devices. You can tell from the functions embedded in the puppet. Book Hyunghwa approaches me and points at the puppet. In the area she indicated, there's an intricate formation emitting strong spatial vibrations. This is a transport puppet used for carrying goods. I've marked a spatial coordinate inside the workshop. Look, as she tinkers with the back of the puppet, it hums and changes its posture. From an aggressive stance with its stinger out, it now assumes a peaceful and comfortable stance, extending its front legs. Book Hyunghwa places a glass bracelet on its extended front legs, and the puppet embraces it. Using the spatial formation engraved on its body and its unique speed. Flash. As she manipulates the back of the puppet and enters some command, the bee puppet shoots forward at high speed and then suddenly disappears. It moves to the set coordinates through spatial movement to transport goods. The bracelet has just been put down in my workshop, and now, she takes out a small formation disc from her pocket. The formation disc is engraved with countless circuits, forming a small spatial formation. Flash. The next moment, the spatial formation lights up, and the bee puppet reappears before us. On the front legs of the bee puppet is a hammer from her workshop. It seems like this puppet was used to transport goods. In Serving Command Palace, there were countless such puppets of Senior Mad Lord. To think this wasn't even a combat puppet, but merely one for carrying goods. I laugh hollowly, feeling the Mad Lord's power indirectly. Even if I reach the heavenly being stage in both cultivation and martial arts, I wonder if I can ever compare to Mad Lord. I marvel at the puppet before me. Suddenly, I feel a strange emotion looking at the puppet. But this puppet. Miss Book, did you say the central circuit of this puppet couldn't be restored? Yes. I couldn't understand what the circuits meant. May I try to control this puppet? You Taoist Seo? Aren't you unskilled in handling magic artifacts other than flying swords? I have a feeling I can handle this puppet well. After a moment of hesitation, she brings the puppet in front of me and briefly explains how to operate it. First, infuse your consciousness into this circuit and try moving it. Understood. I infuse my consciousness into the bee puppet. Countless circuits inside the puppet absorb my consciousness. There are 7 main circuits in total, among which you should sequentially infuse your consciousness into. Book Hyunghwa is explaining something beside me, but I focus on the sensations coming from the circuits. As I thought my prediction is correct. Whoosh. I separate my consciousness inside the bee puppet. Consciousness is a collection of intent, and intent is a combination of countless colors. Among these colors are the 7 emotions that form the foundation of human emotions. I divide the consciousness I had infused into the puppet into 7 colors. Whoosh. The 7 massive circuits absorb the 7 colors separately. Simultaneously, I feel completely unified with the bee puppet, and it feels like I know exactly how to control it. Miss Book, I have mastered the puppet. If you keep infusing consciousness periodically, watch this. Virum. Following my will, the bee puppet naturally soars into the sky, circling gracefully. It moves much more fluidly than when Book Hyangwa controlled it. How did you? The puppet controlled by her only moved in stiff, straight lines, but under my control, it moves freely. If Mad Lord has the vision of beyond the path to heaven, then naturally he would have the ability to see the colors of intent, the foundation of beyond the path to heaven's hard essence. How did you do that, Taoist Seo? I will explain. After controlling the bee puppet naturally for a while, I brought it back down to Book Hyangwa and explained my discovery about the 7 emotions and the colors of intent visible to those in the martial world who have reached the stages of 3 flowers gather at the summit and 5 energies converging to the origin. Book Hyangwa listened to my explanation, taking notes in her notebook. That night, Book Hyangwa was deep in thought, touching the circuits of the bee puppet in her workshop. The consciousness of the 7 emotions. It's an area she hadn't thought of. Applying human emotions to rigid magic artifacts. What exactly did Senior Mad Lord create? Even this bee puppet was just one relatively intact puppet among the countless remains in Serving Command Palace that day. There must be an astonishing number of such puppets in his usual abode. Shiver. Just as Seo Eunhyun felt a chill sensing the Mad Lord's power, Book Hyangwa also felt goosebumps realizing his genius. An unbelievable talent. Truly an extraordinary pattern law talent. A talent surpassing even devils. Rustle. She was analyzing the circuits when suddenly her face stiffened. Wait, if Taoist Seo is right, this puppet is not just a puppet with emotions. Whoosh. 4 colored patterns appear on her face, and her eyes intensely focus inside the puppet. It's connected? Book Hyangwa analyzes the puppet circuits. This puppet, based on emotions, is interconnected with other puppets of Senior Mad Lord. It was designed like that. If I analyze the flow of emotions felt from this puppet in terms of circuit flow. After tinkering with the circuits for a while, she suddenly stops. Thud. One of her tools fell onto the puppet's body. Although the circuit got slightly mashed, Book Hyangwa's face turns pale, and she trembles. Drip. Blood trickles from her nose. The 4 colored patterns on her skin burn brighter than ever. Impossible. Book Hyangwa stands up and steps back from the bee puppet. Senior Mad Lord. Just what were you trying to create? Her breathing hastens. She looks at the puppet in shock. A talent and concept surpassing devils. No, if my speculation is correct, the realm he was attempting to breach is one only permitted by the heavens. A realm taboo for mortals. An impossible fantasy and imagination. That is what Book Hyangwa discovered to be Senior Mad Lord's goal. But, since he's crazy, could it be that he literally intends to violate the taboo to create it? Due to the extreme enlightenment from glimpsing a madman's taboo-breaking fantasy, Book Hyangwa's qualities that were highly activated started to calm down. After calming her startled heart, Book Hyangwa turned her gaze to a blueprint hung on one side of her workshop. It's a conceptual design of a Dharma treasure she was developing for Seo Eunhyun. A blueprint slowly being developed to meet the absurd conditions Seo Eunhyun had mentioned. But having glimpsed Mad Lord's plan and witnessing the numerous emotions contained in the puppet, she feels that her ongoing blueprint has been significantly supplemented. Book Hyangwa approaches the blueprint of the Dharma treasure. If Senior Mad Lord's insane fantasy is true, whatever I create can never match his work. However, she picks up a working brush and slowly redraws the blueprint of the Dharma treasure. When in the hands of Taoist Seo, this work might at least follow in the footsteps of his creation. Rustle. Book Hyangwa meticulously refines the blueprint of the Dharma treasure with a focused gaze. Translator notes. Extra donated chapter by Twisted Umbrella, YMM16, and Guish. Thanks for the support. The martial art scene was a bait kek. What do y'all think Seo's Dharma treasure / magic artifact is gonna be? Chapter 107, Lotus, 15. / translating novice. Is my magic artifact almost complete? Yes, the conceptual stage is nearly finished, and now I just need to precisely arrange the structure before starting the actual production. I feel a subtle sense of anticipation. Although I'm not interested in external items, I'm curious about what kind of magic artifact she has created. Can you tell me what kind of magic artifact it is? That's a secret. I'll let you know once I've completely laid out the structure. I see. And, Taoist Seo, you have a task to do. Oh, she takes my hand and leads me to her workshop. Starting today, Taoist Seo will also learn to make magic artifacts. Didn't you stipulate that the magic artifact should be easy enough for you to make as well? I let out a wry laugh. It seems that Miss Bulk wants to turn me into a craftsman to fulfill that condition. Don't worry. It's really not that hard. You'll be able to make my design magic artifact on your own if you can manage even the simplest thing. After some thought, I nodded. If that's the case, please teach me. After all, learning to make magic artifacts could be useful. And so, the education in artifact refining began. The beginning of magic artifact refining is getting used to crafting things. I became accustomed to using Book Hianhua's workshop, starting with crafting simple handicrafts. Whoosh. ZZZ. I look at the glass craft I just made with my own hands in Book Hianhua's workshop. Since beginners couldn't use precious materials, I started with making glass crafts from the abundant sand in the desert to get used to the act of making something. Book Hianhua looks at the glass craft I made. What is this? It's a cursed doll. It's among my cultivation methods. Cursed dolls are usually made in a human figure. Is this a starfish? It's supposed to be a human. At my words, Book Hianhua covers her mouth and looks away. I can sense her muscles moving, trying to suppress her laughter. It seems, Taoist CEO, that you don't have a talent for crafting. I've always lacked talent in making things. Phew. After a moment of thought, she says to me, let's keep trying. It'll get better over time. Thank you for the encouragement, but my crafting skills didn't really improve. The glass doll, which initially looked like a starfish, gradually became more human-like, but it still seemed inadequate in Book Hianhua's eyes. I was trained not only in artifact refining by Book Hianhua, but also in their use. It seems necessary to become familiar with magic artifacts to make them. Book Hianhua, along with Kim Young-hoon who came to Cheonseek City, started special training with me. Vroom vroom. She noted improvements, corrections, and new inspirations while observing the monster puppet I controlled against Kim Young-hoon. I maneuvered the monster puppet while also operating various magic artifacts given by Book Hianhua to corner Kim Young-hoon. Ugh. Boom. Kim Young-hoon is blown away by a magic artifact, stirring up a cloud of dust. The artifacts are powered by spiritual power, but since their movement strictly follows my lead, the training is beneficial for Kim Young-hoon, Book Hianhua, and myself. I trained Kim Young-hoon, constantly showing him the path to the next realm and refining his skills. Book Hianhua had me start with doll crafts and then practice making glass artifacts in the form of flying swords. Practicing in the form of a sword felt more familiar, and crafting became a bit easier. I endlessly created glass flying sword crafts, gradually becoming accustomed to crafting. Months passed. Before I came to my senses, I found myself working in Book Hianhua's magic artifact shop. Although it wasn't artifact refining, I was the one managing the sales and explanations of magic artifacts to the cultivators who visited the store, as well as taking care of the artifacts themselves. Hey boss, this saber seems a bit off. Kim Hyung, you don't need a magic artifact anyway. Besides, the owner of this magic artifact shop is Miss Book, not me. Kukaku, when a couple runs a store, both are the owners. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Kim Young-hoon, who was examining a saber-shaped magic artifact, looks at me and says, didn't you and Miss Book practically live here for the past few months? Now, the cultivators who buy magic artifacts from Cheonseek City are spreading rumors that a young cultivator couple runs this place. Even Miss Book's father thinks you and Miss Book will get married soon. Ha ha ha. I don't know when you'll marry, but congratulations. Book Jung-ho and Kim Young-hoon had become drinking buddies. Damn it. Why has such a rumor spread? Feeling somewhat incredulous and dealing with Kim Young-hoon's nonsensical talk, I sent him out of the magic artifact shop and headed to the nearby market. I had come out on an errand to buy paper for Book Hianhua, who needed it for her magic artifact designs. It was when I reached the paper store. Oh, isn't this the groom, Sir CEO? Excuse me. The old lady who owns the paper store hands me a bundle of paper with a chuckle. I saw you walking down the street with the daughter of the chief observer, looking quite cozy. I heard you've been living together lately. Aren't you married yet? As I'm bewildered, the old lady looks at me curiously and asks, we haven't married yet. Oh, you haven't reached that point yet. But everyone in the city knows you two are meant for each other. So why not get married soon? Ah no. While I'm flustered by the old lady's words, another shop owner comes out and adds to the conversation. Everyone in this city knows you two are lovers. That's right. We've been watching the two of you together for years. It seems the rumor has spread throughout the entire city, painting me and Book Hianhua as a cultivator couple running the magic artifact shop. This is crazy. Why has such a rumor spread so far? I received the bundle of paper amidst people's premature congratulations and returned to the workshop. What? You're still not officially together? Kim Young-hoon, practicing his saber, says to me. I read his intent, block all his attacks, and reply. We haven't said anything to each other yet. Ugh, I'm going to explode. I mean, you're one thing, but why hasn't Miss Book said anything to you? I thought her intent was clear. Just stop it, please. I dodge and suppress Kim Young-hoon's blade, aiming at his vital points. All right, you win this time. But, thanks to you, I'm getting the hang of it. Indeed, I could feel his speed gradually deviating from his usual patterns. If he continues training for a few more years, he might truly grasp the essence of beyond the path to heaven. But why can't you grasp people's hearts? Confess to her properly, and start dating already. I told you to stop. Sighing, I finish the spar with Kim Young-hoon and head down to Book Hyangwa's workshop for today's crafting practice. Behind me, I hear Kim Young-hoon yelling, "Man, just confess already." It's so frustrating to watch. Frustrating to watch. I feel the same way. I sigh softly and enter Book Hyangwa's workshop. Years passed. Whoosh. In Book Hyangwa's workshop, I pick up a newly made glass sword artifact. Somehow, you've grown in your refining skills. This is almost indistinguishable from a real sword, isn't it? It's thanks to the Mrs. Good teaching. Not only the sword artifacts, but I also look at the glass dolls. My glass refining skills have improved significantly, and the dolls now closely resemble real human figures. Recently, I also began attempting to refine other items beyond dolls and swords. By the way, Taoist CEO, did you make another starfish? It's not a starfish. It's a flower. Oh, a flower. I'm sorry. No, it's my lack of skill. After some idle chat with her, I head outside. It's closely approaching 10 years since I came to Cheonseek City. I have become well acquainted with the streets of Cheonseek City and have grown familiar with its residents. In that long yet short time, many changes have occurred. Greetings, immortal CEO. Yes, greetings to you too. After exchanging pleasantries with an elderly passerby and greeting neighbors, I head out of Cheonseek City towards the heaven-treading desert. Among the various changes, the most significant is Kim Young-hoon's progress. Vroom vroom. Through relentless training and meditation, Kim Young-hoon has nearly reached beyond the path to heaven. In a state of no mind, he dances with his saber, weaving countless martial principles, slicing every grain of sand carried by the winds of the heaven-treading desert. An insane display of martial prowess. Whoosh whoosh. Gradually, his saber dance begins to be suffused with a golden hue. It's a pure, natural light, reminiscent of the sun itself. It's been like this for a few days now. He's on the brink of enlightenment. Really, Kim Hyung, how far can you go this time? It's been only 10 years. In just a decade, he's about to cross the threshold to beyond the path to heaven, with over 50 years still left in his life. Show me. His saber dance accelerates. Was it called stepping on snow without a trace? Although it isn't a snowy field, he moves across the sandy terrain without leaving a single footprint. And then, suddenly, his heart essence is solidifying. I feel Kim Young-hoon's heart essence suddenly expand and become distinct. A giant pung made of golden rivers. As his heart essence becomes clear, a bright glow shines in Kim Young-hoon's eyes. His consciousness domain radiates like a golden sun, infusing into his saber. Beyond the path to heaven. Rumble. Surpassing radiant saber. Flash. A golden radiance explodes in all directions, shooting towards the heavens and slicing through a passing cloud over the desert. From within the golden light, Kim Young-hoon emerges with a face filled with all the joys of the world. I've reached it. Seo Eun-hyun. With a hopeful expression, he holds his golden saber and speaks to me. Come at me. Whoosh. Surpassing radiant saber rushes towards me. Seeing its familiar speed, I smirk. This is it. This isn't some poor imitation, but the real surpassing radiant saber. Boom. I draw out my formless sword and clash with the surpassing radiant saber, creating a massive explosion that sweeps across the desert. With a flicker of golden light, Kim Young-hoon disappears momentarily. I squint my eyes, scattering my formless sword in all directions. The formless sword transforms into a massive colorless storm, sweeping around me. Kim Young-hoon, as fast as light, dodges through the storm like a graceful bird navigating the winds. Impressive. Zap. Kim Young-hoon, having reached me in an instant, strikes down with his golden saber. I morph my formless sword to block his path and unleash countless colorless trajectories towards him. In the instant between seconds, thousands of clashes erupt. The desert landscape is carved out, sand melts into glass, valleys are created, and clouds are torn apart. Kaboom! I tear through the golden brilliance and strike upwards with my formless sword towards Kim Young-hoon. In an instant's gap, Kim Young-hoon defends against my formless sword with his near-light-speed reflexes and strikes back nearly 30 times. I cover myself with the trajectory of the formless sword to block his attacks and launch him into the sky. Whoosh! We ascend, tearing through the desert clouds. Among the dry clouds, there is still some moisture, which immediately evaporates due to our movements. Only a handful of droplets are left around us. Boom! Our strikes send the handful of droplets flying, and soon, there are only a few droplets remaining. 7 droplets. Swoosh! Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber pierces through the trajectory of my formless sword and lunges at me. In an instant, my formless sword undergoes 73 changes, scattering the surpassing radiant saber and then attacking him with hundreds of variations. One of the 7 droplets bursts and evaporates during the clash. The remaining 6 droplets slowly fall downwards. We follow the droplets down, exchanging blows as if by agreement. Kim Young-hoon circles around me, pressuring from all sides. I extend my formless sword in all directions, catching his saber. This leads to another droplet bursting, leaving 5 remaining. Bang, bang, bang. After several more exchanges, we stare at each other, descending together at the speed of the falling droplets, with the ground slowly approaching below. Whoosh. I infuse the changes of my formless sword into 2 of the droplets in front of me, and shoot them towards Kim Young-hoon. All the variations of the Severing Mountain swordsmanship contained within the formless sword are packed into those droplets. Recklessly intercepting them will result in being torn apart instantly. Kim Young-hoon observes the changes in the 2 droplets, and, with his surpassing radiant saber in hand, precisely pierces through the weakest point of the transformations and rushes at me. The 2 droplets burst, leaving only 3 remaining between us. Kim Young-hoon's assault begins. He uses Mountain Wind to stab at me, and 1 more droplet bursts in the process. I barely dodge the thrust, but can't avoid a slight scratch on my face. Keying. Hundreds of thousands of variations erupt from my formless sword, engulfing Kim Young-hoon like a tidal wave. Kwong. He tries to escape the onslaught of changes, but fails to shake off the techniques of my formless sword, falling straight down. Another droplet bursts, leaving only 1 remaining. We land on the ground faster than the last droplet, assuming our stances. The last droplet is on the verge of hitting the ground. Whoosh! Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber shines brightly. His internal energy connects to the surpassing radiant saber like veins, drawing in external energy. The surpassing radiant saber acts as an external core, amplifying his energy. Kim Young-hoon holds his stance in that state. I too grasp my formless sword. Simultaneously, the pure spiritual force within me links with the formless sword, and I feel my life force intertwining with it. My formless sword also becomes an external core, amplifying my energy. When the last droplet falls precisely to our eye level, without hesitation, we both smile and unleash our most powerful attacks towards each other. At that moment, when our martial prowess causes the last droplet to evaporate on its own, I've decided to confess. In the midst of the intense spar and the whirlwind of emotions, I finally share my decision with him. Translator notes. Extra donated chapter by Guish, YMM 16, Augustus 63, and Maxer. Thanks for the support. We finally got the martial arts scene we've been expecting. By the way, Kim and Seo's fight with Seo's declaration at the end feels like when 2 bros are playing games together and one suddenly spills the tea. Chapter 108, Lotus 16, /Translating Novice. Boom, boom, boom. As the light exploded, Kim Young-hoon was struck by my formless sword and hurled into the middle of the desert. Cough, cough, cough. From within the dust cloud, Kim Young-hoon can be seen coughing as he struggles to his feet. Tui, tui. Damn it, Seo Eun-hyun, you cunning guy. To say such a thing at this moment. Haha, sorry. He spits out sand and holds his saber, letting out a hollow laugh. Damn it, Phew. After shaking off the sand, he sighs. All right, fine. My attack couldn't match yours anyway. But still. He thumps his chest, continuing. Now you decide to confess. Arg. I thought I'd vomit blood from frustration. I sigh. It really wasn't an easy decision. You're so frustrating. What's so difficult about it? Just, there are things hard to explain. Please understand. Fighting against Kim Young-hoon, who has obtained the surpassing radiant saber, I felt it clearly. Even as I wielded the formless sword, even while executing techniques, even while focusing my best, the pinkish color of love in my heart never left. If martial arts have become a part of my life that I never give up, then my affection for her has also become an integral part of my life. If it's impossible to shake off, then let's accept it. I can no longer endure. Nor can I leave. Being with Book Hyunghwa brings comfort. Learning artifacts from her makes me forget the pain of my return, if only momentarily. The pain of those numerous losses would subside, even if just for a moment. That comfort has become so strong that hiding my feelings is no longer possible. So, when will you confess? Do you need my help? I will confess, but... I smile wryly and say, recently, I've been practicing making flowers out of glass. But whenever I make a flower, she says it looks like a starfish. So, I plan to wait until I get the shape of the flower right. Hearing this, Kim Young-hoon scowls again. Damn it, waiting again. It's maddening for those watching. You frustrating guy. Just confess quickly. Calm down, Kim Hyung. I sweat trying to calm down the annoyed Kim Young-hoon, who is thumping his chest. If you really insist. Oh, wait a moment, Kim Hyung. Suddenly, I take out the transmitting device that's ringing in my pocket. What now? Oh, sorry, Kim Hyung. I need to return to the city quickly. Wait, you scoundrel. Using the transmitting device as an excuse, I fly towards Cheonseek City. Admittedly, escaping Kim Young-hoon's annoyance was part of it, but it was also due to something truly important. Chongmun Ryong has returned. How have you been, Taoist CEO, Cultivator Book? It's been a while, Taoist Chongmon. I greet Chongmon Ryong respectfully as he approaches. Chongmon Ryong laughs heartily as he descends from his flying artifact and enters Book Hyanghua's magic artifact shop. Book Hyanghua and I head into the conference room. She brews tea, and we chat briefly over it. Then, Chongmon Ryong starts the main topic. The formation is 99% complete. The remaining 1% will be finished after Cultivator Book makes the final adjustments to the formation artifact, and we go to Serving Command Palace to install the formation, while making some final tweaks. Chongmon Ryong looks at us and says, "You've both worked really hard so far. The clan head also said that once the longevity fruit blooms safely, you will both be rewarded, and the Chongmon clan will give you 1 or 2 more corresponding rewards. I am thankful." He looks at me and speaks. "Especially Taoist CEO, since you have means like the Nether Crossing ship to enter Serving Command Palace. If you wish, we can even offer you the position of a guest elder in the Chongmon clan. Of course, corresponding rewards will also come your way. I'll accept it gratefully." I convey my gratitude to Chongmon Ryong, filled with burgeoning expectations. Now, perhaps Kim Young-hoon's lifespan can be extended a bit. If only the longevity fruit can bloom. Just then, "Seo Eun-hyun, you rascal. Where are you going while an elder is speaking?" Kim Young-hoon enters the magic artifact shop. Chongmon Ryong looks at Kim Young-hoon, and their eyes meet. My martial arts master and my cultivation master are facing each other. Before the atmosphere becomes awkward, I quickly introduce Chongmon Ryong and Kim Young-hoon to each other. They greet each other, albeit awkwardly. Taoist Chongmon. Kim Hyung here has mastered a unique method. His spiritual power is undetectable, but he possesses skills beyond the stage of chi building. I see. And Kim Hyung, Taoist Chongmon here is among the top 3 scholars among chi-building cultivators, so please show him the respect his knowledge deserves. Okay. After introducing them, I have a brief discussion with Chongmon Ryong and then leave the conference room. Chongmon Ryong also finishes discussing with Book Hyanghua and leaves the room. "Have you been well?" "I had my fun. But..." Chongmon Ryong looks at me and asks, "Taoist CEO, have you married Cultivator Book?" Pardon me? Just before entering the conference room, it seemed like Taoist CEO's traces of life were everywhere. "It looks as though you were living here, so I wondered if you were married." That's..." Before I could respond, Kim Young-hoon interjects with frustration. "Don't even bother. Seo Eun-hyun here hasn't even properly dated Miss Book yet." Just listen to this. This guy, Chongmon Ryong and Kim Young-hoon began a conversation about my relationship with Book Hyanghua. A little while later, both of them looked at me, shaking their heads in frustration. "Taoist CEO, it's really unbearable. I've been curious since 10 years ago when you two would get engaged, and you're still not officially dating?" "That's what I'm saying, Chongmon Hyung. This frustrating guy. Back in our hometown, there was someone who liked him, but no matter how much she showed it. Hem. Enough, please." I cough and hurriedly escape into the conference room, where Book Hyanghua is still present. "Miss Book. Taoist CEO, it's time for your practice today, isn't it?" "Yes, let's start right away." I join her in the workshop to make glass crafts. Recently, she's been teaching me the basics about magic artifacts. Once you're familiar with the terms I've taught, reading this compendium of artifact refinement I've compiled will definitely deepen your understanding of magic artifacts. I understand, they'll read it later. I followed her lead and made some glass crafts. After a while, she moves to another side of the workshop to adjust the formation artifacts brought by Chongmon Ryong. For a moment, the only sounds in the workshop were of us working on our respective tasks. After making a glass craft of a sword, I tried to create a white magnolia sculpture, which I know Book Hyanghua likes, and showed her the glass magnolia. "It doesn't look like a starfish, does it? At least it somewhat resembles a flower." "Miss Book." "Yes, what is it?" I apologize for the trouble caused by my inadequate skills. "No, Taoist CEO. The pieces you've made are also wonderful, aren't they?" "Wonderful? Compared to the magic artifacts you make, Miss Book, what I make is just chunks of glass." She pauses her work on the magic artifacts and turns her attention to me. "Taoist CEO, you know what glass is made of, right?" "I'm aware. It's made from the sand around here." "Correct. May I see it for a moment?" She takes the glass flower, which resembles a starfish, and begins working on it again. Sand is just common stone fragments. But when the right person handles it, it becomes a glass craft. She continues. "I've mentioned this before, haven't I? There's no waste in the world, just things that haven't found their fate or connection." Gradually, in her hands, the glass starfish I made started to take on the proper shape of a flower. That means, if the right fate touches it, anything can become a beautiful craft, right? Whoosh. She hands me a glass quince flower she just made. "I wasn't sure what kind of flower you wanted to make, so I made a quince flower that suits Taoist CEO. Do you like it?" I take a moment to look at the quince flower she had handed me. People of Biokra like glass. It's easily made from desert sand, and though its true value is not seen in the dark, it reveals itself in the light. Miss Yanghua. I look at the quince flower and then at her. I have something to tell you. I had planned to confess once I am skilled enough to make a proper flower. But now, it seems I can no longer wait. Yes, I like this person. Yes. Thump, thump. I can hear her heart beating. She seems to have sensed my mood, as her face gradually reddens. Numerous thoughts swirl in my mind. What should I say? What would be the best? Just then. Wait, just a moment. She speaks with a flushed face. I also have something to give you, Co Orbioni. I'll give it to you by tomorrow, so can you please wait until then? Understood, Miss Book. And I need to concentrate in the workshop for a bit. So could we stop here for today, and you step out for a while? Understood. I obediently leave the workshop. Outside, I see Chongmun Ryong, Kim Young-hoon, and Book Jung-ho coughing. I had sensed their presence since earlier. Book Jung-ho nods at me with a proud expression. Do well. Thump, thump. He pats my shoulder and leaves the magic artifact shop with a smile, while Chongmun Ryong and Kim Young-hoon sigh. Finally, this dense guy, Cultivator Book, doesn't seem likely to reject him. They can't hide the satisfied smiles on their faces as they look at me. Ahem, it's not certain yet. Not certain. If you had eyes, you would have read the mood. Just pretend you don't know. I listen to Kim Young-hoon's nagging and Chongmun Ryong's advice, and briefly step out of the magic artifact shop. It seems unlikely that I will get much sleep tonight. Book Yanghua sits inside the workshop with a flushed face. Miss Yanghua. She covers her reddened face with her hands. Finally, Orbioni called me by my name. She sits still for a while, and then finishes adjusting all the formation artifacts and turns her attention elsewhere. In a corner of her workshop is a small wooden box. Book Yanghua opens the box and takes out a piece of paper. On it is a diagram of a Dharma treasure, the result of her constant contemplation and observation of Co Eunhyun's formless sword over the past 10 years. It's the nearly completed blueprint of his Dharma treasure. Let's finish it now. It's a Dharma treasure perfectly suited for Co Eunhyun. She recalls when she first heard Co Eunhyun's conditions for the Dharma treasure. I thought he was crazy. A magic artifact with such impossible conditions. Yet, she was driven by the challenge, which eventually turned into earnestness. She wanted to make a weapon genuinely for Co Eunhyun. The word Co Eunhyun was about to say to her today. She realized what they were by the atmosphere. But that's why she wanted to hear them tomorrow. It will be complete by then. Scratch, scratch. As she draws with her brush, the diagram receives additional strokes. Each stroke fills her mind with thoughts of Co Eunhyun. Soon, patterns appear on Book Yanghua's face. Chi3. And those patterns shine brightly. The intertwined black and purple patterns gradually merge into one. It is said that the extraordinary pattern law talent grows with strong emotions. Although she had worked hard until now, it is the strongest emotion she has ever felt that began to develop her talent. Book Yanghua continues to draw the diagram, entranced, unaware that her 4 patterns are transforming into 3 patterns. As the 3 patterns emerge, her hand moves faster. She feels like she can grasp the ideal way to perfect the Dharma treasure. The Dharma treasure she had been contemplating and perfecting for 10 years is completed by her with even more perfection and novelty. She, with purple, gold, and pink patterns on her face, tirelessly details the structure of her gift to Co Eunhyun. And thus, the next day dawns. Chapter 109, Lotus, 17. Translating Novice. Like any other day in the desert, the sky is clear that day. Co Eunhyun, stop wandering around. I realize I have been aimlessly pacing in front of Cheonseek City upon hearing Kim Young-hoon's reprimand. Sorry, I'm just quite nervous. What's there to be nervous about? You're ridiculous, really. TSK. I sigh deeply. Is this the right thing to do? Is it right to offer my affections to someone? I've told you before, haven't I? There's no waste in the world, just things that haven't found their fate or connection. That means, if the right fate touches it, anything can become a beautiful craft, right? I recalled her words. Being with you is so comforting. It's so peaceful and happy that sometimes it feels like a dream. I, who has always been abandoned by fate, realized through her words that the proper fate I had never reached was indeed with her. Even if swept away by time, even if the connection eventually fades, if the connection, the feelings, reach each other, can't they create something beautiful? Even if I have to return again someday, and everything disappears, her presence heals all the pain and wounds I have ever experienced. People live with wounds. For over 700 years, I have only lost connections. I will continue to lose them again. But people of Biokra like glass. It's easily made from desert sand, and though its true value is not seen in the dark, it reveals itself in the light. I am nothing more than dust, a grain of sand. But she is unequivocally my light. Therefore, in this life, Even if only for a moment, I am determined to shine with her. Even if you're not the same person in the next life. My feelings have grown too large. I will burn brightly in this life. I steel my resolve and lift my head. You've made up your mind, I see. Kim Young-hoon smiles at me knowingly. Yes. Whoosh. Changmun Ryong and Book Jung-ho approach, each on their flying artifacts, landing in front of me at the gates of Cheonseek City. Daoist CEO, finally we'll see you and Cultivator Book live happily ever after. I thought I'd go mad with frustration, but is today the day it finally happens? I've been holding back from grabbing you by the collar and forcing an engagement with my daughter, but it seems there's finally some progress. Book Jung-ho chuckles. Just do the wedding now. Oh right. I'll prepare everything for the ceremony. There's no need for that. Don't you dare argue with your future father-in-law. He spoke sternly. Cultivator Changmun Ryong, if Daoist CEO confesses to my daughter, take them to Yun's tomb. Let them make their eternal vow in front of her grave. I'll prepare everything for the wedding there. But. Go on, hurry. I try to protest, but Changmun Ryong and Kim Young-hoon hold me back while Book Jung-ho excitedly flies off to his wife's tomb. Haha, you poor thing. Just get married already. Is a wedding something to decide so hastily? As I look bewildered, Changmun Ryong and Kim Young-hoon laugh heartily. Daoist CEO, we've seen you and Cultivator Book together for 10 years, and it was obvious you like each other. Isn't it rather late to officially become a couple? But. What but? Everyone in Cheonseek City already thinks you two are a married couple, so it's better to make it official now. After enduring their unsolicited advice, I'm finally released. While they were holding me, whoosh, a bee puppet flew out of Book Hyangwa's workshop, carrying a formation disc and a small wooden box, and flew off into the distance. What's that? As I wonder. Thud, thud. Book Hyangwa slowly approaches from afar. Ahem, then I shall leave now. They'll be going too. Daoist CEO, do your best. Kim Young-hoon and Changmun Ryong vacate the place for Book Hyangwa and me, and she comes up to me. Daoist CEO, may I ask what you wanted to say? That is. I hesitate. She smiles warmly. Eun-hyun Orabioni, are you feeling hot? Your face is red. I've learned a bit of pulse reading from you. Shall I do it for you? Hem. Imitating myself, she looks at my face and laughs brightly. So this is how it feels. During this time, she had been clenching her teeth and pretending not to know about my emotions. And now, I feel like my emotions have been exposed to her. It feels like I'm being teased, but it's not a bad feeling. Miss Hyangwa, it seems you are feeling hot too. Your face is all red. She seems surprised for a moment, then chuckles. We both chuckle at each other. Shall we take a walk for a while, Miss Hyangwa? Yes, Eun-hyun Orabioni. We strolled around Cheonseek City. The ordinary mortals and cultivators of the stores in Cheonseek City greeted us. I wandered around the market with her, buying and eating food, and looking at the shops. Since Book Hyangwa's father, Book Jung-ho, was the supervising cultivator in charge of Cheonseek City, we even climbed the city walls to view the desert. The desert is really hot. The air is so dry that even when I try to create water with the water-surpassing path, it hardly gathers. I thought I was going to die when I crossed it before. Oh, really? Yes, if Miss Hyangwa hadn't given me water, I would surely have died of thirst. I remember the first time I drank water from Book Hyangwa. Of course, the Book Hyangwa who first gave me water is not the same as the current Book Hyangwa. No, that's not right. In fact, thinking about it, the Book Hyangwa I met the second time and drank water from is not the current Book Hyangwa either. My her is the her of this moment. Maybe. I am afraid of the disappearance of time. That's why I am afraid of forming connections and having feelings. However, thinking about it, humans actually change every moment, every second. Therefore, a human from 1 second before and 1 second after are actually different beings. That's why I have always distinguished the people I met in each return from the people of previous returns. Even if people change, the heart should not. Have I just been too afraid until now? After all humans die. If there is a meeting, there will be a parting. However, I was too afraid of the pain of parting that I might not have seen the feelings of the present. Well, even if I return again someday. I made up my mind. From the moment I decided to be with her, all the events that have happened are already in my heart. All the events that will happen in the future will also become one with me in my heart. I decide to confess these feelings. Of course, even after making up my mind, it's not easy to verbalize it. Strangely, it's hot. My face is turning red. Book Hyangwa is the same. Cultivators always covered their skin with a protective method, so the harshness of the sunlight and the heat are not a big problem. Chi-building cultivators naturally form defensive gang chi with their pure spiritual force, making them even tougher than ordinary cultivators. But no matter what method I use, I can't do anything about this heat. Orabioni. We both tried to speak at the same time, and then chuckled again. You go first. Well, actually, I have something prepared for Eun-hyun Orabioni. Whoosh. Suddenly, The bee puppet appears, leaping through space in front of us. Whoosh. The flapping of the bee puppet's wings cools the heat between us. In the forelegs of the bee puppet, there are 2 fans. Bu Qianghua grabs the 2 fans and hands one to me. Twin Immortals dance. Do you remember the dance we did that time? I remember. In a few days, there will be a small festival in Yundu City far away. Would you like to dance there again? Oh, you were impressed by the dance we did back then. Yes, I really wanted to dance with Unhyun Orbioni again. Haha, now that you mention it, I also want to dance with Miss Qianghua again. But, I look at her and say, if we're going to do the Twin Immortals dance, wouldn't it be better to go back to Shengzi and dance there? Let's set up the formation in Serving Command Palace with Daoist Changmun and go to Shengzi. Let's visit the village we protected together again. That's a great idea, but actually, I've prepared a gift for you in Yundu City. A gift? Suddenly, I feel a bit embarrassed about the gift I have prepared. Actually, I have also prepared a gift for Miss Qianghua. Oh, what is it? I take out a wood attribute spirit stone. It's my first magic artifact, created from the brief teachings I had received from Bu Qianghua. Is this a starfish? She asks, teasingly looking at the form of my magic artifact, and I playfully respond while infusing spiritual power into the artifact. Have you ever seen a starfish like this? I'm not skilled enough to make a magic artifact that looks exactly like a flower in an instant. However, I can engrave circuits in the artifact and infuse it with the desired spell. And in such cases, I am confident. Whoosh! With spiritual energy shines brightly. The spiritual energy of the 1,000 lustrous forest sea glows brilliantly. At the same time, as the spiritual energy gathers, it transforms into the shape of a flower. It's a white magnolia. Since you gave me a quince flower yesterday, I will give you a white magnolia. Wow, the white magnolia, created with numerous spells. Bu Qianghua looks at the white magnolia for a moment, then chuckles. You didn't make a magic artifact. Why can't you just compliment me? You always give me advice when you see me using flying sword artifacts. Every time you say, that's not how you handle a flying sword. That's, While I'm flustered, Bu Qianghua takes the magic artifact I made and carefully puts it in her bosom. Anyway, thank you. The circuits of the magic artifact are well made and concise. Thank you for the compliment. But don't you, Miss Qianghua, prefer to make complex circuits? Wasn't saying it was well made and concise a bit of an insult? Oh, that's just my style, she says, looking over Cheon-sik City from the city wall. My maternal grandfather, Gongmyo Cheon-sik, fathered many illegitimate children, including my mother. Among them, those with the potential for cultivation were given the Gongmyo surname, but those without talent, like my mother, were not even given a surname and were cast out from the family like an unwanted child. Her story continues. When he made magic artifacts, he used to make the circuits concise. It made them more versatile and much easier for the user. The complexity of the circuits I made so far might have been a kind of rebellion against my grandfather. Suddenly, she strokes the bee puppet and says, but you know what? Unhyun Orbioni. After hearing from you, I successfully repaired the central circuit of this bee puppet. I thought the central circuit would be very complex, but it turned out to be surprisingly concise. The simplicity of those circuits caused changes, spreading into countless circuits and operating this puppet. Somehow, its operating principle seems similar to human emotions. I, too, had witnessed in 3 Flowers Gather at the summit how 7 emotions can create so many changes. Thanks to Orbioni, I have grown, and I've been able to free myself from my strange rebellion against my grandfather. She looks at me and smiles brightly. Thank you, Unhyun Orbioni. Me too. I smile back at her smile and confess. I receive so much comfort from Miss Qianghua. Thanks to you, the many wounds I have acquired in life seem to heal, and the pains of life seem to be forgotten every time I meet you. Before I knew it, I had taken Bu Qianghua's hand. In this moment, everything is going well. The day to obtain the longevity fruit is near. There's a high possibility of reaching the new realm. This connection can be finally realized. In this moment, I am deeply grateful. She closes her eyes. I can't explain it, but to me you are. I slowly move my face closer to hers. Orbioni, with her eyes closed, she asks in a trembling voice. I hold her hand with furrowed brows. Miss Qianghua. Yes, Orbioni. With a face full of expectation, she calls out to me with her eyes closed. But I, tense all over, lift my face away from hers and ask, isn't there a smell of blood coming from somewhere? Translator notes, FK. Chapter 110, Lotus, 18. /Translating novice. Yes. At my words, Bu Qianghua also opens her eyes, sensing that something is off in the atmosphere. There's a sudden stench of blood in the air. I look up at the sky. Fate is ominously clouded. Using demon senses, I observe that the surrounding spiritual energy is also ominously vibrating. Miss Qianghua, it looks like the celestial energy is ominous. Please stay inside. Orabioni. After reading the celestial energy with me for a moment, she frowns. For now, I'll try to figure out what's happening. Instead of trying to dissuade her, I focus more intently on locating the source of the smell. And then, I realize that the smell is emanating from the city itself. What? The entire city. I was bewildered when suddenly, whoosh, a strong wind starts blowing from the east, from the direction of the heaven-treading desert. My eyes widened. From the east of the heaven-treading desert, something like a red cloud is crawling up from beyond the horizon. Chills run down my spine. My skin starts to prickle. A thick evil presence is approaching. And soon, others gather on top of the city walls. Chongmun Ryong, Kim Young-hoon, Book Jung-ho, and others. What is that? More importantly, the spiritual energy in the city is writhing strangely. Is cultivator Chongmun able to contact the Chongmun clan? Kim Young-hoon, with a vigilant expression, draws his saber, and Chongmun Ryong takes out a communication device to contact the Chongmun clan. Book Jung-ho sends messages to the entire city administration, issuing orders. Rumble. Looking at the blood-red cloud rolling in from afar, I think of one being. Bloodwood practitioner, Yuan Li. Why is that person coming here? Although I have questions, it isn't the time for them. I asked Book Jung-ho. The being coming here is Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li, a devil path cultivator who has surpassed core formation. He takes pleasure in devouring humans, so it's likely he's coming here for similar reasons. Is there a way to evacuate the city residents immediately? There are many cultivators in Cheonseek City, so if we use their flying artifacts to carry the mortals. Just then, screech. The smell of blood emanating from the city intensifies, spreading a blood mist in all directions. What? The blood mist converges into 6 blood-red pillars surrounding the city. A curtain of red light appears between the pillars, enclosing the entire city. Rumble. Simultaneously, the dragon vein beneath the city begins to boil. This is, simultaneously, as the dragon vein beneath the city stirs, the vital force, chi, and blood in my body also begins to wriggle. And then, Aya, my body. I can't move. Aya, Sa, save me. The city residents. All the mortals among them are writhing in agony on the ground. While the martial artists who have learned martial arts look a bit better off, they too have to continuously calm their boiling vital force and blood. Kim Young-hoon also seems to have boiling vital force and blood, but thanks to his inner core, he quickly subdues it and regains his composure. This is a blood sacrifice formation. Chongmun Ryong's face turns pale. Blood sacrifice? A human sacrifice. A method used by devil path cultivators to offer a large number of lives to increase their vitality and cultivation. Exclamation point. As my face contorts, Kim Young-hoon strikes the blood wall with his surpassing radiant saber. Boom. The golden radiance of the saber struck the blood wall, but the wall, being connected to the city's dragon vein, does not easily break. Damn, it's not budging. Daoist Seo. What do you know about this Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li? Do you know him? That person is. Suddenly, I remember an incident from my past lives. The Heaven-treading Desert Massacre. An incident where brutal massacres occurred in tribes and cities near the Heaven-treading desert. That massacre agitated the spirits of many cultivator clan elders and clan heads, eventually leading to a great war 200 years later. No, something strange. In my previous life, when I met Book Hyunghwa, it was 40 years after my return. But now, only 10 years have passed. Why has the incident been brought forward by decades? I grit my teeth and look around. Daoist Chongmun, can you dismantle this blood sacrifice formation? The dragon vein is indeed connected. I'll try, but it will take time. Then we will buy you time. Please dismantle the formation as quickly as possible in the meantime. Understood. Chongmun Ryong descends with a stern face, grab a formation artifact, and begins to work on something. I speak to Kim Young-hoon and Book Jung-ho. The one coming now is a devil path cultivator named Yuan Li, the Bloodwood practitioner. His realm is likely at the grand perfection of core formation, or perhaps slightly beyond. It's indeed earlier than in my previous life when the massacre occurred. Even so, he couldn't have achieved nascent soul by now. The Dharma treasure that is said to elevate his realm by one stage is the black castle-shaped Dharma treasure I had seen, and he only increases his cultivation inside it. Now that he's come out in the open, perhaps. I look at Kim Young-hoon. If Kim Young-hoon and I, both with core formation fighting capability, combine forces, perhaps we can hunt down Yuan Li. I and Kim Hyung are of core formation strength, so it's not impossible for us to hold him off. Meanwhile, Elder Book and Miss Hyunghwa, please protect Cheonseek City from the fallout of the battle. Book Jung-ho nods, and Book Hyunghwa looks at me with worried eyes. Will you be alright, Orabioni? I glance at the bee puppet. Miss Hyunghwa, if you can escape with the bee puppet, please leave right now. But Cheonseek City is my. Miss Hyunghwa. Thump. I grab her shoulder and plead. Please try. All right. Soon after, Bu Qianghua activates the teleportation array engraved on the bee puppet. However, the bee puppet does not teleport through space. It just rushes rough the void. It simply bounced off the blood sacrifice formation and was repelled. This formation is also hindering space teleportation. We might be able to leave once the formation weakens a bit. Understood. Miss Qianghua, promise me that when Daoist Chongmen weakens the formation even slightly, you will immediately escape using the bee puppet. Or a Bioni, but promise me. I match her eye level. It's alright if I die, but you must live. Bu Qianghua, do as he says. Bu Jungho also speaks to Bu Qianghua with a serious face. She seemed about to say something, but then closes her mouth. Alright. Then, may luck be with you. Bu Jungho takes Bu Qianghua to the base of the city walls and begins to deploy a protective formation to shield the civilians inside the city. Kim Young-hoon and I draw our formless sword and surpassing radiant saber respectively, eyeing the blood-red clouds flying towards us beyond the blood sacrifice formation. And then, whoosh, the blood-red cloud envelopes the entire blood sacrifice formation. Simultaneously, a figure in a blood-red robe slowly descends from within the cloud. Whoosh. He easily penetrates the blood-red curtain and enters. The same blood-red robe. And a translucent black mask. It's Yuan Li, the Budwood practitioner. Now I must catch him. I observe him. The aura emanating from him is at best grand perfection of core formation. At best, at Song Jin's level. And if he's Song Jin's level, I am confident enough to hunt him. Suddenly, I notice something different about him compared to my past life. Wrinkles? Indeed. In my past life, even though Yuan Li wore a mask, his skin was smooth, and his physique was youthful. But now, Yuan Li's hands are wrinkly, his physique significantly smaller, and his hair not a lustrous black, but ash gray. I shout at Yuan Li with the momentum of the formless sword. Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li, what brings you to Cheonseek City? He looks at me upon hearing my words. Damn, I feel nauseous from the disgusting heart essence emanating from within him. It's still the same. Although there is a slight difference in appearance, his inner heart essence is no different from before. Oh, you know my title? Yuan Li strokes his chin from inside his mask with a rough voice. Strange indeed. How do you know my title? Those who knew it have all perished, and those who could have known, I have tracked down and killed. There's no need to know about such things. How long has it been since our heavenly being seniors ascended? Why would you start such a brutal act over a single city so soon? Haha. What does a mere chi-building cultivator need to know? Be quiet and just die. Kugagugugwo. As Yuan Li forms a hand seal, the blood cloud he brought with him flows into the core of the blood sacrifice formation. Inside, there's an eerie echo of ghastly cries and the thick smell of blood. I exchange a look with Kim Young-hoon, and we both swing our surpassing radiant saber and formless sword. Kwa guang guang guang. Golden and colorless lights sweep through, dispersing the blood cloud. Surprised by our momentum, Yuan Li looks down at us with a slightly startled expression. Oh, not chi building, but core formation cultivators in hiding. Answer me, even if it's you. Do you think you can safely face both of us? Kim Young-hoon and I have both reached the core formation level in the path beyond the heavens. In my case, the combination of chi building and path beyond the heavens have a synergistic effect, enabling me to exert the power of the highest level of core formation. Moreover, I have honed my formless sword for over 200 years in the path beyond the heavens. If Yuan Li is only at this level, it wouldn't be impossible to hunt him down. Alright, you're not just chi-building bugs, so you deserve an answer. He strokes his chin as he speaks. Chwak. Then, he runs his hand over his nape, revealing a certain handprint. That is, 10 years ago, during the period when the Ascension Gate was open, and before all the heavenly being seniors ascended, I was attacked and almost killed by a heavenly being senior. Though I was spared thanks to the senior's change of heart, this curse he left on me continued to eat away at my body. The butterfly effect of Mad Lord's actions. The curse spread by the Mad Lord accelerated Yuan Li's actions by decades. In the end, I realized that to lift this curse, I needed to regain my nascent soul cultivation, so I decided to collect my blood soul a bit earlier than planned. Blood soul. You know my name. But not that, huh? Yuan Li chuckles, then extends his hands. Whoa. Blood erupts from his hands, absorbed by the blood sacrifice formation. Simultaneously, the formation trembles, and my vital force and blood become even more restless. Kim Young-hoon's complexion worsens. Boom bam boom. Among the mortals writhing inside the city, those with weaker bodies began to burst open. Pop pop boom. Their bodies exploded, and their vital force, blood, and life force emerged, rising towards the center of the blood sacrifice formation. Stop it! Enraged, I charge at him with my formless sword. Kim Young-hoon, seeing this, hardens his face and unfolds his surpassing radiant saber, targeting Yuan Li. But then, TSK, how foolish. You seem to be mistaken about something. Kia. Eerie ghostly wails echo from within his blood-colored robe. Indeed, at this moment, my cultivation is only at core formation grand perfection. He takes out a staff from his storage device. The staff, stained with blood, has a crystal skull decoration at the top, and the wooden body is covered with small branches that resemble human hands. Shuwuwu. 5 translucent blood-colored banners extend around him. As he speaks, 4 red pagoda-shaped Dharma treasures emerge, lining up around him like guards. As he rummages through his bag, a gush of scarlet blood water surges out. The blood water rises beside him, transforming into the shapes of 2 massive ghost kings wielding scythes. I was originally a nascent soul cultivator. In order not to be captured when they were about to ascend, I scattered my nascent soul into blood spirits and sprinkled them around the heaven-treading desert, temporarily lowering my cultivation. Chwak chwak chwake. Even as he spoke, he continued to take things out from his storage device and throw them into the air. 7 scrolls unfold beside him and in front of the ghost kings. The scrolls depict sea creatures drawn in blood: seahorse, dragon, octopus, striped marlin, orca, coral reef, and clam. All the Dharma treasures and magic artifacts I've collected since reaching nascent soul, as well as the powers I've developed, are intact. Although my cultivation is only at core formation great perfection, do you think you can oppose me? Chua? Finally, he spits out 17 bone daggers from his mouth. The handles of the daggers are carved with weeping skulls. Come at me, core formation trash. I'll grind your golden cores into my blood spirits. Kim Young-hoon and I silently take our fighting stances. Boom 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 at. Below us, Book Hyunghwa and Book Jung-ho, along with other cultivators, try to stop it, but the mortals' bodies continue to explode. Crack. No words were needed to start the fight. Severing mountain swordsmanship. First move, transcending peaks. The opening technique cuts across Yuan Li horizontally. Keying. The red pagodas surrounding him connect, forming a red curtain. My formless sword is blocked by the curtain, and inside, I see Yuan Li forming a hand seal. Go. Kia. The 2 ghost kings made of blood water swing their scythes at Kim Young-hoon. Block them, I'll break through. Yes. Kim Young-hoon gathers energy, and I step forward, unfolding my formless sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship, joy of mountains and peaks. Hundreds of trajectories crisscross, blocking the ghost king's scythes, and even engulfing their forms. Pot. A golden explosion is felt from behind. I dodge, and a dazzling ray of light shoots forward. Severing vein saber method, mountain wind, strikes the barrier surrounding Yuan Li. Quong. The barrier trembles and finally breaks. But inside the barrier, Yuan Li calmly completes his hand seal. Release. Chwak. The scrolls unfold beside him. Sea creatures drawn in blood leap from their scrolls. These are the demon souls refined by my blood, sea, overwhelming light. Let's see how you handle them. Each one is at core formation. I stand beside Kim Young-hoon, gripping my formless sword. The energy from those demon souls are explosive, but they deplete quickly. I'll hold them off while you approach him. Be careful not to let your head touch the blood-colored banners around us. Understood. Severing mountain swordsmanship, landscape painting. I scatter my formless sword in all directions. Core formation level demon souls rush at me, radiating blood-colored brilliance. The octopus tentacles trap me, and the striped marlin aims its sharp bill at me. The coral reef extends like spikes from the inside, pressuring me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, bouldered cliff, strange rock. My formless sword morphs into a mass with numerous bizarre changes, creating a defensive and offensive unity. The striped marlin is repelled by the rotation of my formless sword, and all the tentacles and branches of the octopus and coral reef are cut off. Cool. The blood-colored orca charges at me with its mouth wide open. Severing mountain swordsmanship, dragon vein, flowing ridge. My formless sword rapidly rotates in my hand, strengthening, and smoothly pierces into the mouth of the orca. Severing mountain swordsmanship, Chi mountain heart heaven. Inside the orca, my formless sword instantly expands and explodes the body of the demon. The remnants of the orca's soul is scattered in all directions, and in that gap, a blood-colored seahorse rushes at me, spewing bloody foam. Bubbling. Watching the numerous bubbles, I slash through them all with my formless sword. But 3 bubbles that I failed to cut grow larger and fly at me, eventually merging into one and trapping me. Ugh. Kugagugagu. Suddenly, my whole body feels heavy. It's hard to move. However, severing mountain swordsmanship, mountain echoes valley response. Tying. My formless sword vibrates, shedding a sword cry. The self-generated vibration carrying its own aura of anticipation wildly swirls inside the bubble. Thanks to the trajectory of the severing mountain swordsmanship in my hand, my body is unharmed, not even a single scratch, and gradually, the bubble trembles and finally bursts. Pong. Severing mountain swordsmanship, deep mountain. I quickly dive towards the seahorse about to release more bubbles, slashing upwards with my formless sword. But at that moment, chwak, a blood-colored clam quickly wedges itself between me and the seahorse. Tying. My formless sword fails to pierce the clam's shell, and the clam opens its mouth to swallow me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, 9 mountains, 8 seas. I rotate my formless sword over 90 times in place, then slice the clam in 8 directions. Chwak. The clam and the seahorse behind it are both cut into 16 pieces and scatters. Kugagugagu. Then, I see the blood dragon behind the seahorse and clam, gathering energy in its mouth. That is, remembering the dragon's breath that Co Ran had fired in dragon form, I raise my formless sword. A direct hit will be fatal, even for someone at the top of core formation. Flash. The blood-colored energy surges towards me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, echoing valley. I capture the blood-colored beam with my formless sword and spin around, throwing it towards the distant battlefield where golden and blood-colored lights are clashing. The energy shot by the blood dragon flies towards Yuan Li, and the 4 pagodas moving around him form another barrier. Quang. But the barrier shatters instantly under the blood dragon's breath, and the 4 pagodas lose their light in an instant. Kua Guang Guang Guan. The breath, weakened by the barrier, pours down on Kim Young-hoon and Yuan Li. I rush towards the blood dragon, gathering strength, and raise my formless sword. The blood dragon rides its massive body towards me, lunging with its horn. Severing mountain swordsmanship, secluded valley. I divert and nullify its power with a twist, then slash upwards with my formless sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship, entering mountain. Chwak. My formless sword splits the blood dragon in half, scattering it into pieces. Shuwuwu. Despite having scattered all 7 demon souls, they start to slowly reassemble in the air, hinting at regeneration. Thankfully, they regenerate slowly. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains. Cha-cha-cha-cha. My formless sword extends in all directions like thorns, scattering the regenerating demon souls again. I then kick off towards the battlefield of clashing gold and red. Kagugugu. A storm of blood presses against the golden radiance. Yuan Li, using the flying escape technique, matches Kim Young-hoon's speed, launching 17 dagger dharma treasures at him. Occasionally, his 5 elements blood curse banners would fly at Kim Young-hoon, distracting him. The 2 ghost kings formed from the blood river looked to have regenerated, pressuring Kim Young-hoon from both sides, while Yuan Li bombards him with numerous spells. Kim Young-hoon shouts upon seeing me join, "Be careful of his spells with that staff. Every time a spell from that staff touches you, it absorbs vital force and blood, and he recovers his energy." Kim Young-hoon's complexion is paler than before, probably having had his vital force sucked a few times by Yuan Li. Understood. Kim Hyung, deal with the demon kings and bone daggers. I'll target his main body. I stand in front of Kim Young-hoon, who targets the bone daggers with 17 mountain wind thrusts, then pulls in the ghosts kings to pressure them. Quite capable, you too. It would have been more interesting if I brought my special jiangshis. Yuan Li chuckles, forming a hand seal. His crystal skull staff's mouth opens. Blood clouds forming blood hands spew out from the crystal skull by the hundreds and thousands, rushing at me. If they touch me, they'll drain vital force and blood, and Yuan Li will recover. Then, I just need to make sure none can touch me. Quang. Severing mountain swordsmanship, blouted cliff. The formless sword rotates around me, forming offensive and defensive unity. Quang quang quang. I spin my formless sword, repelling all the blood hands, and charge at Yuan Li. Humph. Ku. A red pagoda strikes down on me from the sky. Though it's for defensive methods, it looks like it can also be used offensively. Tum. I divert the pagoda's power to my side with secluded valley and continue to charge at Yuan Li. He relentlessly bombards me with spells. A tidal wave of blood crashes down, and blood branches stretch in all directions. Several blood rays target me, and blood moths rush at me. I repel every single spell, gradually approaching Yuan Li. Stronger than Song Jin. Though Song Jin is said to be a remnant soul of a heavenly being cultivator, he had to constantly resist the underworld's pull by relying on the ghostly energy of the nether crossing ship, without a physical body or dharma treasures. Yuan Li, showing his full strength at the peak of core formation and using numerous dharma treasures, is incomparable. But, together with Kim Young-hoon, we can definitely catch him. Pong boom. Kim Young-hoon bursts the blood-formed ghost kings behind me and shakes off Yuan Li's dharma treasures, coming to join me. I plunge into Yuan Li's embrace, and our eyes meet. Farewell. And then, quack. Yuan Li holds a translucent blood-colored banner in his hand. You're caught. Quack. He thrusts the blood-colored banner into my head. Twitch. I stop in my tracks. I summon more than just 5 elements blood curse banners. The previous 5 blood-colored banners have been chasing Kim Young-hoon. As Yuan Li forms a hand seal, several more blood-colored banners begin to rise around him. If the source of the 5 elements blood curse banner is properly placed in the upper dantian, I can summon as many as I want. Haha, performing so well before me. You two will be useful as my blood slaves. Chwak. I swing my formless sword at the chattering Yuan Li. Yuan Li, with his upper body severed, looks at me bewilderedly. How about that 5 elements blood curse banner? I smirk, lifting my formless sword. It seems it doesn't work on someone who has mastered the same curse. How did you? Chwak. I slice his upper body into thousands of pieces and kick away the remaining lower half. The 5 elements blood curse banner he just planted was absorbed by the 5 elements blood curse banner I refined with the one emotion method. Because of that, the refining rate of my 5 elements blood curse banner, which was 99%, dropped to around 95%, but it doesn't really matter. Is it over already? If he hadn't used the 5 elements blood curse banner just now, it would have been dangerous, but anyway, I finished him. That's a relief. Then, you seem like experienced fighters, but do you lack experience in battling core formation cultivators? Shiver. I shiver and look back. Yuan Li's lower half, despite the absence of the upper half, is still floating in the air. Chorak chwa ra rack. Blood surges from Yuan Li's lower half, gradually regaining the shape of his upper half. What in the world? As Kim Young-hoon exclaims in shock, Yuan Li's consciousness echoes. Chi-building cultivators and above can survive for days even if several organs are torn due to the flow of pure spiritual force in their meridians, and can regenerate if well rested for a few months. But that's it. Chi-building cultivators die if their neck is cut. I charge at him before he can fully revive while he is talking. Quong. However, the blood-colored clam suddenly blocks my way. Chwak. The 7 demon souls I had scattered earlier have completely regenerated. But you know, from core formation onwards, you don't need a head or anything else. Core formation cultivators from righteous sects practicing righteous path methods might need months of recuperation if their neck is cut or heart is plucked. However, devilish cultivators like myself, who practice the blood path, regenerate instantly unless their golden core is destroyed. Kim Hyung. Severing Mountain Swordsmanship. Ultimate move, Severing Mountain. I pour all my strength at the 7 demon souls to break through. They struggle desperately to protect their master, but I initiate endless mountains beyond mountains, launching Severing Mountain again and again. Meanwhile, Kim Young-hoon, seizing the opportunity while Yuan Li is babbling, flies towards him with the speed of light. Chwarak. Yuan Li's upper body regenerated over 90%. Kim Young-hoon uses Surpassing Radiant Saber and Severing Vein Saber methods ultimate move, Saber Tomb, to attack him in that state. Light flashes and Yuan Li, who has regenerated over 90%, is again torn to shreds. Yuan Li's upper and lower halves are scattered, with only a fist-sized golden core floating in the air, just as Kim Young-hoon is about to destroy the golden core. Did I ever say my? Chwak. From inside the golden core, a blood-colored spear shoots out. The spear aims straight for Kim Young-hoon's heart, who dodges back in surprise. Dharma treasures are limited to this. Chike. Blood mist spews from the spear, forming another blood-colored ghost king. Damn it. Is he even human? You become completely different from humans starting from chi building. What are you saying? I shake off the demon souls and step towards the golden core, while Kim Young-hoon also faces the spear-wielding ghost king and moves towards the core. Then, the remnants of Yuan Li begin to gather around the golden core, regenerating his body again. Damn it. We must stop it. Just then, Puk quack. Boom. A bee puppet, appearing suddenly in the area, injected its pure spiritual force sting into Yuan Li's defenseless golden core. It was Buk Hyangwa. How dare you? Boom. Chwak. The bee puppet injects several more stings into the golden core, which retaliates with spells, pushing the puppet back. But the core is already cracked and losing light. You bastard. Yuan Li's voice fades, and the golden core falls straight down. Miss Hyangwa. Below, I see Buk Hyangwa with a determined expression, manipulating the puppet, her face filled with satisfaction. Chwak. And then, something done by Chongmon Ryong seems to have an effect, as the blood sacrifice formation starts to fade. It doesn't disappear completely, but it's significantly weaker than before. Haha. I feel a release of tension. Yes, this way, we have prevented the sudden heaven-treading desert massacre from happening decades early due to a small butterfly effect from the Mad Lord. That's what I thought. Impressive. What? Wriggle. It isn't Yuan Li's golden core. In the center of Cheonseek City, from the life force and essence blood of those who died due to the blood sacrifice formation, a voice emerged. Hyung, I know. Kim Young-hoon rushes towards it, but then, chwak, the blood cloud brought by Yuan Li. The blood energy that covers the outside of the blood sacrifice formation rushes inside. Chwak, the blood cloud rushes at us, obstructing our way. This is, I sense from within the blood cloud, the life force and essence blood of tens of thousands, along with their grudges and pain. This is human. Each droplet of this blood cloud is the life of a human. Kugugugugu. Yuan Li's blood cloud absorbs the shattered golden core, regenerating it. The falling golden core rises again into the air. Then, something begins to emerge from the central blood pillar in Cheonseek City. It's a baby in the form of a soul body, with dozens of eyes, mouths, and hands all over its grotesque body. From its mouth emerges Yuan Li's rumbling consciousness. Chi-building cultivators have a moderately strong regenerative power, and core formation cultivators don't die easily unless their golden core is destroyed. The grotesque baby flicks its finger, and Yuan Li's falling golden core flies towards it. Kim Young-hoon and I try to stop it, but the blood cloud surrounds and obstructs us. From nascent soul onwards, as long as the nascent soul is intact, you don't die even if the golden core is shattered. Normally, shattering the golden core would mean losing all cultivation. However, I am thoroughly prepared, so that won't happen. And didn't I tell you? I had already reached nascent soul, but just scattered my blood spirits around the cities near the heaven-treading desert to avoid the eyes of the heavenly being cultivators. Kugugugu. The blood clouds are drawn into his golden core. In an instant, Yuan Li regenerates his body and bursts out from the blood cloud. Kugugugugu. The blood clouds scattered outside the blood sacrifice formation are also sucked into Yuan Li's body. His cultivation begins to skyrocket, surpassing core formation grand perfection. Kim Young-hoon laughs hopelessly, looking at Yuan Li. Well played. Golden light, over there. I'll refine you into my blood slave, and you, I don't know how you did it. But since you learned the 5 elements blood curse banner, mental restraints won't work on you. You'll just have to die. Yuan Li, having absorbed all the blood clouds, exudes the power of an early nascent soul cultivator. Your city is not the first I visited. Instead, I first gathered all my blood spirits I had left in the northern grasslands, absorbed the nourishment there, and then came here to play for a while. It seems you were quite spirited. Anyway, it was impressive. Farewell. Whoosh. The next moment, Yuan Li emits a burst of blood-colored radiance. Translator notes. Extra donated chapter by Mjspixel and Muhammad. Thanks for the support.